downtown district. Part of that was doing entertainment district permitting. The ordinance permits outdoor alcoholic consumption, music, special events under certain conditions. So there was an issue, there were some issues that were identified in this. So there was a duplicative permitting process. We had the entertainment district special event permit process, and then we had our major special event permitting process. So it created duplication. We had two different permits for the exact same thing. So it was confusing for the organizers, redundant and inefficient for permit reviews. The proposed, so changing this, it will streamline the permitting process, allow organizer, it will be easier for us on staff and also for the organizers. It enhances the consistency and the transparency. It reduces administrative burden to have an entertainment district permit plus a special event permit. Supports the continued growth for the downtown area. Staff recommends approval of ordinance 2025-78. City Council requested approval of ordinance 2025-78. In addition, there was one other small change for the entertainment district. The cups that you're allowed to walk around downtown with alcohol, we added clear plastic cups instead of, it said cups, we just said clear plastic cups.
Councilmember Urban.
Thank you. Thank you for doing the cups. I think we had talked about at a workshop how it's a little bit confusing to have all these different color cups and everything. It was confusing for the business owners and the consumers. We also talked about possibly extending the entertainment district hours for every day of the week instead of just Thursday to Sunday. Are we still looking at doing that?
City Manager.
Thank you. Excuse me. At the workshop, the direction to staff was for us to go out and research entertainment districts and come back so that the city council could have a comparison and we could potentially make additional changes. So as part of that, we would be potentially extending the dates and times.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
It was quick. But Councilman Urban, I agree with you. If we set some guidelines in some districts, it shouldn't be Thursday through Wednesday or Wednesday through Thursday. There's people that work nights, days, different hours that want to go to an entertainment district. We shouldn't govern them on when that district is open. Because there's many people that work here in St. Cloud that work midnight or work the mid-afternoons or work the weekends. So I don't see why it should be date or day specific. If we're gonna have an entertainment district, it's gonna be governed by the same way. I think it should be every day during the same hours. And I'd ask council to consider that for all the working folks here in St. Cloud that work the third shift, that work the second shift, that work the weekends. So I yield back to you, Mayor, but that's what I'd look at an entertainment district, not just for the Friday night 20-year-olds, but everybody that lives in the city of St. Cloud. I yield back to you, Mayor.
I got a quick question for the attorney, I guess. Can we make a motion with an amendment to this to just add the dates now?
No, we can't. It's not, it wasn't advertised for that. We'd have to bring back a different ordinance to address the code change.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to speak on this item? And what's the pleasure of council?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved. Councilmember Paul.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Stephanie. Will the clerk please read letter C?
Public hearing for resolution number 2026-00002R. A resolution of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, granting a subdivision variance to reduce front yard setbacks for lots 52 through 88 on previously approved subdivision construction plans on their R1B zoning district on the plus minus 43.259 acres of land known as Tyson Reserved, VAR 24-00001, generally located north of Casey Durham Road, east of Nora Tyson Road, and west of Chatsworth Circle, as described in the body of this resolution.
Good evening, Melissa Dunklin again, Director of Community Development. This item before you tonight is for a subdivision variance for the project known as Tyson Reserve. It is generally located north of Casey Durham Road, east of Nora Tyson Road, and west of Chatsworth Circle. The subject property has an existing future land use designation of low-density residential within R1B, single-family dwelling zoning district. The subdivision construction plans for this project were approved on February 19th, 2024, and the subsequent final plat was approved on March 10th.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Can y'all not lean against that, please? Yeah, I'm seeing it pushing back, and that's, so we want to preserve that. Thank you. Sorry, Melissa.
Oh, it's okay. I'll start over at the prior approvals. The subdivision construction plan for this project was approved on February 19th, 2024, and the subsequent final plat was approved on March 10th, 2025 by the Development Review Committee. The Land Development Code requires the front yard setback for the R1B zoning district to be 25 feet from the front property line. The applicant is requesting a variance for up to a 9-foot encroachment to accommodate the front porches. Specifically, the applicant is requesting lots 52 through 58 to only have a 16-foot.
88,
I'm sorry.
52 to 88.
Oh, what did I say?
58.
Oh, oops, 52 to 88, thank you. Specifically, they are requesting to have a 16-foot front porch setback and a front facade setback of 20 feet. These are, the lots are affected by the required site grading, which hinders their ability to have a typical and usable backyard for their product type. Here's a graphic representation of the low-density residential future land use. And here is a graphic depiction of the R1B zoning district. This is a snippet from their provided concept plan so that you can see how the product would be situated on their site with the proposed front setbacks. All the other setbacks for R1B have been met. Staff has reviewed this request for the subdivision variance on or before November 24th, 2025, and we recommend approval. Likewise, it is requested that council also approve resolution number 2026-002R. Staff and I believe the applicant is available for any questions.
All right, thank you, Melissa. Would the applicant like to speak on this item? Oh, can you come to the podium, sir? Name and address for the record, please.
John Drawer, 1064 Greenwood Boulevard, Lake Mary.
Does anybody have any questions? No? Anyone in the audience like to speak on this item?
I have a question too. Are there,
Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
from what I understand, and we have a great audience here that are great St. Cloud citizens, you're looking at a portion of the setbacks to be a southern-style porch, to be greeting people that come walk through the walkway, or it's almost, it's hard to explain, but it's a southern-style porch, a big porch in the front. Is that what we're looking at?
That's correct.
And what percentage of the housing has that? And I know it's, you guys put out a floor plan.
Right.
And that's what fits, and you say, hey, why not do something really cool?
Sure.
And put a southern-style porching area. Is that, am I wrong, and what percentage is that?
You're correct. We try and put them on as many as we can. Ultimately, it's up to the buyer to select the porch as part of their structural options and the architectural facade, but as many as we can get on there.
And I'm sure there's costs involved, but what percentage are you asking for the variance at this point of the housing development to be, for the council to give a variance to 17 feet versus 20 feet? That's 16%, 20, I just don't know.
Yeah, it's probably sub 20%, I'd say.
what?
20%.
20%, okay. I'm sorry, it took a long way for me to get to that question, but.
Oh, that's okay.
But thank you very much. I yield back to you, Mayor. That's the only question I had.
All right, thanks, sir. And what's the pleasure of council?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, Councilmember Urban. Second. Second from Councilmember Fletcher. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Paul? Aye. Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, sir. Did Rocky Haig, is he still in the room?
Yes.
I was looking for you. Rocky, you want to come on up here?
How y'all doing tonight? You know, I got a good feeling this morning. I get a good feeling every time I come down 192. And let's see, I get to about the turnpike.
Rocky, can I get your name and address?
Yes, sir, yes, sir, I'm sorry. Rocky Haig, District Aide to the great Rep. Paula Stark here at 1309th Street, St. Cloud, Florida, 34769. Council members, mayor, city attorney, and St. Cloud's finest, this amazing Chief Gerke. It is so good to be back home to St. Cloud to serve Rep. Paula Stark. Everyone in this room, everybody watching within earshot, you are my boss because I serve your representative. So here's my cell phone. It's 407-583-9443. And we have a wonderful office in this magnificent new city hall. I didn't know what y'all have been doing the last few years I was gone. You have got the framework now. I think St. Cloud is going to be an amazing region to live. The city hall is amazing. I've got a nice little office in Rep. Stark. Just when y'all come into City Hall, it's to your left and left, right across from the Toho desk. I just have one vision to share with y'all. You've got all the tools. You've got the brain power. I know each of you. Not totally each of you, but the people I do know here have got the brain power, the ethics. Victoria's up in there. The city attorney's strong. You got St. Cloud's finest. My challenge to you is to take your people, your IT people, try to become as transparent as possible in all processes. Pour into your IT people. Put out a little app that will allow anybody in St. Cloud to know the nearest 40 people to them, name, address. People can start knocking on doors. I'd love to see you start identifying the intangible value of St. Cloud. That is people to people. Y'all get that fire started. People are going to love it here. Y'all, it's great to be back home. If y'all have issues with Tallahassee, other needs, please call me, visit us. You are my boss. Thank you, Mayor.
Rocky, you got 40 more seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just brag on Chief Gerke. This guy's, what a coach. You know, everyone in leadership is a coach, right? And it filters to, I just realized today something too, working out of this office for the great Rep. Stark, I've got one of St. Cloud's finest. I feel safe. I can go back there and do some work. Those people are serious. And not just physically, but I mean, you can tell a human's attitude. So, but I'm very excited about what each of y'all have done. Victoria, city attorney, councilman, mayor, y'all have done amazing work in this city hall. You've got the framework. Get your intangibles going.
Time's up,
You'll be
Rocky.
a living city.
Thank you. Good to have you back here in St. Cloud.
Congratulations, my brother.
It feels good. It feels good. You look good too, Councilman.
Well, thank you.
All right. Before we get going, we just held the vote for public hearing C. We had John Drower that wanted to speak on it. John, we've already taken a vote. Where's John at? He just filled out a form, but it said for Tyson Reserve.
No, that was the, yeah.
Oh, that was the applicant? Okay. They just handed me this, so that's why I call it as they get it.
Laws and strikes.
All right, next up, we have council action. And will the clerk please read council action A?
Request council's approval of the preliminary subdivision plan for Walker property, PSP 24-00001.
Good evening, Melissa Dunklin, Director of Community Development. This item before you tonight is for a preliminary subdivision plan for the project known as the Walker property. The future land use designation is low-density residential, and the PUD was approved on April 25th, 2024. The property comprises approximately 25.59 acres. The PUD was approved for 69 detached single-family units on, or at 2.7 dwelling units per acre. This is a snapshot of the property in aerial view showing the location of the proposed project, which is located generally west of Narcousie Road and south of Chisholm Park Trail. Here's a graphic representation of the future land use map depicting the low-density residential land use for context. And here's a graphic representation of the zoning map depicting the existing PUD, or Planned Unit Development Zoning District. Here is a snapshot of the approved Planned Unit Development Preliminary Master Plan and Final Master Plan. The approved development program includes 69 detached single-family dwelling units. 32 perimeter units were, lots were 75 feet wide, and the 37 internal units are 62.5 feet wide. They are also required to have 3.69 acres of open space, a 25-foot wide mounded buffer with high buffer plantings and a split rail fence along Albany Avenue, a 10-foot multi-purpose trail to extend along Chisholm Park Trail to Narcousie Road and throughout the development and surrounding the stormwater pond. A 6-foot vinyl fence is required abutting lots 14 through 20 and a split rail fence abutting lots 35 through 41 along the western property boundary along Chisholm Park. Okay, here is the proposed preliminary subdivision plan. The proposed development does not depict the 10-foot multi-use trail along Chisholm Park Trail. That was part of the approved PUD. Therefore, staff is recommending denial because the proposed preliminary subdivision plan does not follow the development standards as set forth in the approved Planned Unit Development Preliminary Final Master Plan, which requires the construction of a 10-foot multi-purpose trail extending along Chisholm Park Trail to Narcousie Road. Likewise, we are requesting that council also deny PSP 24-00001 for the preliminary subdivision plan for the project known as Walker Property. Staff and the applicant are both available for questions.
Thank you, Melissa. Would the applicant like to speak on this item?
Good evening, Joe Thacker, 17 South Orlando Avenue, Kissimmee. The PSP that's been presented to you meets all of the conditions of the PD ordinance, with the exception of the trail that was shown along Chisholm Park Trail between Albany and Narcousie. The applicant's position is that at the council meeting where the PD was approved, it was made clear that the multi-purpose trail, the 10-foot multi-purpose trail connecting Chisholm Park to Narcousie would be through the neighborhood as is depicted on the PSP that you have in front of you. I think staff will say that everything else has been met. So we're here tonight just to talk about the trail. What I want to say is that
Excuse me, Joe. Melissa, can we pull the map back up?
I think I might be able to do that.
Oh, you have that? I'm sorry.
Well,
I don't know
let's
who's got
see
the power.
if I know
That way,
how
while
to.
you're talking, explaining it, it'd be nice to see it as well. Thank you. Can you go back and show the two more? There we go. That'll work.
Okay, this is from the PD itself. And I don't know if this points or not. No. So the blue dash line on the top of the picture is the one at issue. The other blue dash line throughout the whole neighborhood and that circles back around the pond as well, has been included in the PSP. Some of the problems with the 10-foot trail that goes between Albany and Narcoossee are that the 10-foot trail would impact those front yards. The trees would be taken down. The utilities would have to be moved, mailboxes moved, things like that. But more importantly, is that a 10-foot trail requires a South Florida Water Management District permit. Anything greater than 8 feet would require that. That means that the stormwater for that trail will have to go somewhere, and there's nowhere within the existing right-of-way for that stormwater to be held. And there's really no place to put that stormwater. We have had numerous conversations, the engineers have about this. We continue to have conversations as of today with your Public Works folks. They have asked for additional information concerning how that trail might work in there and how the stormwater could be done. We're happy to provide that information and get that back to you. I don't have a concern, and I did let the city attorney know today. We're happy to amend the PD, come back and amend the PD to remove that if you want it, or to change it. We're open to having discussion tonight about the direction from council. We've been trying to work this through for the last several months. So staff is in a position where they have to recommend a denial because of this issue. But that doesn't mean that we can't come up with a game plan that will work for both the city, the developer, and those folks along Chisholm Park Trail. So that's what I'm here to try to get some direction from council and to work with you all on getting a solution that helps everybody.
All right, thank you, Joe. Would anyone in the audience like to speak on this item? All right, city council. Any comments from council?
Yes, please.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Melissa, if you have a second, and we have such a great amount of St. Cloud residents here that are attending this meeting, which I'm sure bores most, but it's important to the future of St. Cloud. PSP, PUD, as simple as you can get. Can you explain it so the folks in the audience understand the difference?
Sure, yes. So a planned unit development, or PUD, is a negotiated zoning designation for a property which allows the applicant to request deviations from our code in order to have a development that is more innovative, and that gives the city the ability to request improvements that are above the minimum requirements of the code. A preliminary subdivision plan is like a pre-plat or a pre-engineered plan that demonstrates that the project can actually work.
Kind of like a plug and play
Right,
versus
right.
we want to work with you, you want to work with us. So if you want this development to be a high-end graded development, we would ask for these specific things, and you'd work it out.
Correct.
That's how business is done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you have a PSB and then you have a PUD, and I apologize for being redundant. However, I'm on the board of MetroPlan, and part of this passage is part of the Ocala to Okeechobee path. This is gonna be an 8-foot path for walkable bikes, pedestrians. It's gonna bring revenue into St. Cloud through, it's almost like the West Trail, and I'm trying to bring it down to understand.
Like the West Orange.
West Orange Trail. This is what this plan is developed for, and it's part of Chisholm Park. And I know Avenue D is part of the trail, and it's 400 feet after Chisholm if you're coming from Narcoozy up. But if you're riding a bike or walking, 400 feet should be part of your exercise regimen. But I'm not telling you what should be. But this is huge to the state and county and cities intermodal plan, which is intermodal is, cars, trains, buses, walks, and all that. This right here is included in that plan from bringing a trail from Ocala to Okeechobee. What we're looking at right here today. Not today, not 2 years, not 3 years, not 5 years. But that's what we're considering a Metro Plan, is this to be part of that plan.
Right.
So if we eliminate that, then they may not even come to St. Cloud. I don't have those answers, and I might be dead in 20 years, but this is gonna happen with or without me. But this is part of what St. Cloud should be embracing. In a PUD versus PSP is what we talked about. Hey, we'll give you a break, you give us a break, you make us happy, we'll make you happy. That's how business is, and I'm a business owner. So for me, this trail is awesome. Now, is it inconvenient for some? Yes. For 99.75% of the city of St. Cloud people, it's gonna be phenomenal, and it's gonna be additional revenue, and it's gonna be outside of St. Cloud paying tax dollars. So I yield back to you, Mayor. I just wanted to include all this because I'm in part of that board, that this is part of the, if we say no, it's gonna affect the trail from Ocala to Okeechobee. So I want to take everybody's picture and at least bring it to the folks here in St. Cloud. That's what this plan is.
Can you clarify if we say no, what you mean? If we say no to the development, or if we say no to, getting rid of that section of the trail?
If I can only answer this, and I don't speculate because I've been around too long, but if this is part of their preliminary trail, and if we take it out, they may use Avenue D. I don't know that, but they may pass St. Cloud. They might go to Howell. This is a planned trail that's gonna be there. I can't tell you, Mayor, but I can tell you, this is part of the preliminary plan.
Yeah, your position is you want to see that trail?
Well, I've been with this program for 2.5 years now, and I've been out to this place for 18 times. And this was the agreed-upon development procedure, which the city agreed upon, and now it's trying to be changed.
Okay.
I'm here for the citizens. It's a tough decision, but this is going to only enhance our trails, our modal trails, our walking, our riding, our biking, these trails into Chisholm Park.
All right. 1 second, Joe. Councilmember Paul.
So, to Ms. Thacker, I know the residents had concerns that are in this area. What were some of the concerns, and have those concerns been addressed?
The concerns as to the development itself?
Yes, from the
Yes.
residents in this area.
Well, none of them will say that all of them have been addressed. But what we did is add in amenities, as Ms. Dunklin was saying on a PD. There are larger lots, there's more amenities, there's more, most subdivisions don't require any trails. We've got 10-foot trails all around this. We've got connectivity, we've got a whole bunch more than what's required in a regular subdivision. So all of that was addressed in the PD ordinance. We also did not put parking along Albany on the one side where the neighbors asked us not to. There were a lot of concessions that were done. And one of the concessions, if we're talking concessions, we did get with staff and offer to pay into a sidewalk fund an amount that would pay for this trail at some time in the future when it could be addressed as to how that corner is gonna be developed, and when the city, this is now a county maintained road and not a city road when it comes under the jurisdiction of the city. Those kinds of things. We're still willing to pay into a sidewalk fund to have the trail be there. It's a question of how much, and we did give an estimated value several months ago. It was initially approved by staff. Just last week, we were notified that they might want more. So we are still looking for ways to move forward to get the development. This development's been going on for many, many years. They're ready to go forward to provide a really nice subdivision in this area so people can live right next to Chisholm Park and walk there and enjoy those kinds of amenities. So I think it's important to understand that we did have a lot of those discussions, and we are still willing to move this forward to be able to accommodate both what staff is looking for, what the council requested, and to be able to move this forward. Because right now, that the PSP doesn't have the trail, but we're willing to pay into it, the fund, so you all can build it when the time is right. And also, the only other thing is the size of the trail. There's really not much room for a 10-foot wide trail in there. And you're triggering the South Florida Water Management District permit requirement. You all probably will want to take a look at that. And so that's why we're here, to try to have those discussions to give direction.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Yeah, Ms. Thacker, I appreciate you, and I know we're on the same page, but you represent a customer, I represent 75,000 people that live in the city of St. Cloud. And I understand that we talked about a 10 or 8 foot trail or something that didn't get South Water Management ready. I don't want this project to linger on.
I don't
I also
either.
want to promise the citizens of St. Cloud, I'm looking out for the best interest. And the best interest was agreed upon contract with the PUD, and Mr. Fletcher and Mr. Urban were there when we agreed upon it, and these were the stipulations of putting these trails in. Now we come back and say, hey, there's a tree in the way, there's this in the way, there's this in the way, let's change it. For various reasons, council, one of them is tourist, an opportunity. If we have a trail coming through Chisholm and going down to Chisholm, it's gonna attract people from the west, what'd you say, West Orange Trail, Kobe? Have you ever been on the West Orange Trail?
I have not.
It's crazy. You drive up and it's beautiful. You can picnic and it's a 10-foot trail. They bike, they walk, I don't know if anybody in the I would love that here in St. Cloud. So I don't know how to compromise, and we look at Street D, and that could be it, but
It's there.
I'm
on
looking
Street
at
D.
20 years. I'll be dead, but this could be really cool
Right.
for the city of St. Cloud.
Right.
It just really. it
The
would
trail is
enhance it.
there.
Yes.
Along Street D. You've got a 10-foot trail.
Okay. I yield back, Mayor. I'm trying to look forward. And, any comments from council?
Councilmember Urban.
It was my understanding, I did meet with the applicant earlier this week. It's my understanding that they're still building the trail, it's just kind of taking a extra turn because of the constraints there. Plus, they're gonna be paying into the fund for it. So if that's the case, I completely understand what Deputy Mayor Gilbert is saying. The trail is very important. If that's the case, eventually, we're going to have a trail that goes through Avenue D and also a trail that goes straight down Chisholm Park Road, trail eventually when that area redevelops. But that's just how I understood it. I'm just talking this through with the council.
Councilman Urban, I understood there's a sidewalk fund, and I'll have to ask the attorney for specifications, because one, I don't think it's legal, and two, is looking at $35,000-$40,000. There's nothing that costs you less than $1 million.
Good point.
Are you asking the city attorney to chime in on this?
No, we talked about the sidewalk. There was an opportunity where I was trying to look at, Mayor, and I apologize, I was looking at options. I'm looking at what we can do to make this thing work, because this is 2.5 years in thing. And they said, well, you can put a sidewalk fund in, and we'll give you 35 grand. Well, you can probably put maybe one house worth of sidewalk for 35 grand. You can't put 1.1 mile.
City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So maybe I can help, we can move it forward, because I think, as Mrs. Thacker pointed out, and we all, staff and Mrs. Thacker agree, you can't approve the PSP the way it currently is before you right now, because it's inconsistent or it's not consistent with the PUD ordinance that was adopted. So what we were looking for is some sort of direction about how the council felt so that we could try to resolve this in one way or another. The way I see it, there's a couple options, right? There's probably two options, and one has probably two subsets to it. So the first option, obviously, is you tell the applicant, we agreed, we want the trail the way it is, and you gotta put the trail in there. The second option is we consider in the future amending the PUD to allow for the trail that's showing on the plan, right? Not on this one, but on the other one.
At the top.
Well, to take out the blue piece and then leave it the way it was in there, like that, so be consistent with that, and you amend the PD to do that. This, as a subset of that, you could say, we're okay with doing that, the way it is there, and then we would like the developer to deposit money with the city for the city to eventually build the extension of the trail as it's shown on that other exhibit. Either way, if you do any of those options, or at least if you do the second options, the PUD is gonna have to be amended, because the PUD currently doesn't provide for the deposit of the funds with the city to satisfy the condition in the PUD. So either way, you'd have to do that. So we just need some direction on what you feel is the best situation to resolve this.
And we are agreeable to amend the PD. As, yes. the
Can you
city
go
attorney.
back to the last slide again, please? Thank you. Along Narcousie Road going north, does that arrow continue up? So with that, would you be continuing that 10-foot wide, or is that an existing sidewalk?
That's an existing.
Or are you increasing that to 10 foot?
No. That is,
I just see it's part of the blue
I
line. If
know.
you follow it all the way around, it's all.
right. The graphic, and as you all know, the graphic doesn't depict what the council approved.
Okay, I think based on the city attorney's advice that we need to amend it. If any of these options, the PUD needs to be amended. Is that correct?
Unless you just stick with the language that's in it the way it is right now.
And require that 10-foot trail,
Yep.
which you're not wanting to put that in.
Well, it may take the city to get some stormwater. The PUD does require the city to get any necessary right-of-way that's needed to build it.
Yes.
But we don't know the cost on it. We don't know how much,
The stormwater, we
know
don't,
what the cost of the trail will be, the estimate. So you won't know, if you choose to put money into a fund, if that was the,
we did give an amount. We gave, that's been reviewed by staff. It was initially accepted by staff, but then they had some concerns that they brought to our attention. So this afternoon, we got a request to do some engineering work to give staff more information about what they think might be the cost. But we don't know if you'll even be able to get a permit on it, or whether stormwater will be necessary. So there's a lot of things surrounding the trail. Only this little piece of it.
so we either allow y'all to go amend it to take out the trail. Well, we can't approve it the way it is right now if you're not in agreeance of developing it at 10 feet. It's got to be at least a 10-foot trail.
So,
And if we don't know that, there's too many unknowns to approve it tonight.
no, we understand you can't approve it tonight, okay? What we were looking for was direction, so we know if we need to amend the PUD and what we need to bring back. So we do understand that, and that's why we're asking for direction.
All right, Councilmember Fletcher.
I just wanted to make I just wanted to make a couple comments because there was one more thing I wanted to add to the to the approval of the master plan. And like Deputy Mayor Gilbert was talking, we do have a bunch of folks here, so trying to learn about the process or at least understand what our thinking is when we're going through this. I do want to say thank you to the applicant. We have worked very hard on this. They've agreed to enhance landscape buffers, the split rail fence all the way around in connection to Chisholm Park. They did adjust the lot arrangement for us. The neighbors on the south side, they're going to be putting in a 6-foot fence and an enhanced landscape buffer to assist with them. We did move parking on the east side of Albany to the west side of Albany to take into consideration the neighbors who are here in the more rural setting. I did want to say that I would like it notated on the plan that all construction, traffic, and equipment come in off of the Street D, which they had to get a county approval for that, which I'm understanding that the applicant has that approval now for Street D. So I would be okay with what's been discussed of taking it back and bringing it back.
City Attorney.
Yeah, so just to try to keep it, because if we come back, we want to make sure we're coming back with the right path and we can get this done, right? So it seems to me, just started reading the room a little bit, that the idea of amending the PUD to allow for a fund to be paid by the amount to be paid by the developer into a fund to ultimately be used for the construction of the trail, the way it's shown on the map on the screen. The only caveat I'd add to that would probably require some sort of discussion among staff and the applicant as to the amount to be able to do that. And again, that's not contained in the existing PUD ordinance, so we
I
would
think
bring.
Ken said $1 million.
I did hear him say that.
That's today.
But he didn't hold his,
1.1 tomorrow.
you didn't hold your finger up
You
like
guys
this.
are late to Florida.
Sorry, Dave.
It's all right. So the PUD ordinance does not allow for that option, so we would bring back the PUD ordinance that had some language in it that basically said, in lieu of constructing it, they could deposit the amount into the fund, whatever that amount might be. We'd put some timeframes on when the deposit would have to be made, of course, and then this exhibit would be changed to take off essentially that blue line. And then it would be up to the city at some point, if they want to extend the trail at that time, to be able to work through all the engineering and do the construction.
Yes, sir.
Does that, I mean, it
Yep.
seems to be some of the consensus as sort of a compromise to ultimately get the trail built and allow the project to continue.
Yes. Kevin Feldlinger, do you have a moment, please? City Manager.
That's actually
Okay.
what I wanted to discuss.
I saw him
Cameron's
back there.
Cameron's engineer gave me
Why-
comments
why
on
you
this
want me
earlier
up there to
today.
Say something, Mayor, would that be okay? Why he's approaching the county? May I-
Yes, sir, go ahead, Dave.
One thing the city's not in is into building streets and roads. That comes federal, state, and county. We do connectivity roads, but we're not in the road business. If everybody knows the state streets, all that, but everything's county, state, and federal. If we go into building a pathway and we ask for $500,000, in the 5 years, it's $2 million, the citizens of St. Cloud pay for it. I don't want to get into a business that we're not saying we're not qualified, but we have so many other things on the plate to not getting into building a passage or a road or a thoroughfare. I apologize, Mayor, I just think it's very important that we know that we're not into the road building business. We're into taking care of the citizens. I yield back, and I know Kevin's so much more intelligent than I, but we're just not in that business.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Kevin
Kevin.
Feldlinger.
Yeah, Kevin, what's your thoughts on that trail, if we have enough right-of-way there? and what South Florida would require?
Well, right now, part of the issue is, and part of the reason why the question about the sidewalk escrow account was brought up is there's a roadside swale there, and we have not seen how they were looking to be able to account for that area, like I said, and the proposal that was given to us did not show any, very minimum stormwater, and that's why we asked for them to be able to provide us cross-sections to be able to show what would be able to fit in there and what they were proposing, because I know at some point there was talk back and forth about different widths of sidewalks, different times of areas there, and so like I said, so it's about being able to make sure that we're able to fit it in there so that we minimize the impacts to the residents, but also still provide that connectivity. So like I said, so that's why we asked for additional information, and I agree the number that's been kind of being thrown around, if we're just putting in just a straight sidewalk just to be able to dig a hole and put concrete in the soil is going to be pretty close, but I have a feeling there's going to be more requirements that are going to be as part of that just because of the way it is, and that's why we asked for them to be able to provide us a little more information, and that's the reason why that's why our staff reached out to them to ask for additional information.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Paul.
sir.
I am okay if this come back and be consistent with that, but to approve something and listening to the challenges that might be all the way to Chisholm Park Trail to Narcoossee Road, I just don't want to approve something that we might face challenges.
Yeah, okay, so were you suggesting, Councilmember Paul, that we continue this until there's more information?
Yes.
Yes, Joe?
What I would request is that we be able to bring back an amendment to the PD quickly, and that a PSP and a PD be approved at the same time. We will continue to work with staff on what could, should, how much could go in there, because I think there are so many unknowns. That's one of the reasons that we were bringing it to your attention, that it's a problem. So we're happy to continue to work with staff. We've been working with staff and will continue. What I guess my concern is understanding your direction so staff knows how they can help, and we can come together and present to you all what you're looking for.
I think maybe during this next month, put together two options. One where you're amending it, taking it out, and one where you're giving us hard numbers on what you feel it's truly gonna cost. And if staff can come, y'all can kind of meet together and find out whether it's even feasible for the city to do it with a swale, or what were you saying, that we need stormwater?
We don't know, and we don't know if we can even get a permit.
Right, and that's where there's no way for us to know either,
Right.
to be able to approve this tonight, I believe.
So we would ask then for a continuance of the PSP. Is that, Dan?
Well,
Or
I
can
don't.
we withdraw?
I don't, well, let me put it this, so I think the mayor is kind of on the right track with it now, but I want, from a process perspective, we, staff, and it's obviously, it's not a big issue for staff to amend the existing PUD ordinance. There is a process to be able to go through it. It's not gonna be a lot of changes to it. When it ultimately comes back to the city council, the hope would be that we have all this information so that you have enough information to do that. At that time, if you agree to amend the PUD, then it moves forward in that direction. If you don't agree to amend the PUD, then you're back where you are right now.
Well,
And,
or the PSP can be updated.
Or the PSP can
Right.
be updated consistent with the existing thing. So at least, I don't necessarily think, I think there is some more work to be done, but I think it can also be worked within the confines of the process so that ultimately, when you make your final decision, you can have all the information.
One of the biggest concerns with development, which are delays, and this is a PSP 24-0001. So we are looking to be collaborative and to work through this on a very timely basis. And that's one of the big asks that I'm asking tonight, is that we be able to do it pretty quickly.
Kevin, how long would it take for you determine whether or not we need that swale or whatever with South Florida? Can we reach out to them and see?
Well, that's what we've asked their engineer to be able to provide us information. At the end of the day, like I said, we've asked for additional information from their engineers, and we'll be glad to be able to review them. If the council would like for us to reach out to South Florida, I can reach out to South Florida tomorrow just to ask about sizes and that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it really is, like I said, about how creative we get with certain things, because, I mean, there's, you know, it's a sidewalk. There's only so many ways you can put a sidewalk in, right? And so, at the end of the day, if that's the direction of the council, I'll be glad to reach out to South Florida tomorrow.
Okay.
Mayor, with your permission, may I ask a
Deputy Mayor.
question?
Yes, sir.
Is it a sidewalk or is it a path?
It's, well, FDOT, the minimum width for a trail is 10 feet wide.
Okay.
So I said, but I've heard at parts that at some point it may be smaller or bigger, and that's what, that's part of the confusion we have also, because we have a hard time being able to tie down a price to something that may be 6 foot wide, maybe 10 foot wide. Like I said, may require drainage, may require pipes, may be able to be done with swales, maybe have different areas with, like I said, if we are able to get vertical curb, maybe we'll move it up a little bit. There's a lot of variables that we're not aware of, and that's why we asked for some typical cross sections, so we'd have a better idea about what the final product would be. And that's why we're working with the applicant to be able to have their engineer provide that stuff to
You are
us.
so good at your job. I've learned so much from you. But a sidewalk is different from a trail.
Yes, sir.
Water is different from runoff. Certain regulations happen. You know what the cost of doing business. I just don't think it's a city's business to build a trail. I don't think we need to put $50,000 at 1% return, and hopefully we can build it for $4 million.
Well, I mean,
And we don't know, I don't know.
But
But you're putting this burden on our citizens. We've agreed upon a PUD with the applicant, and they agreed upon doing this. And it's okay, hey, I sold it, we're cool. And now it's, oh, we don't want to do that. I don't know. As a businessman, you have to question. We agreed, we shook hands, you signed an agreement, and now you want to change it. I don't know. It may be a revised work order. But I just asked the council to consider, we are not into the trail building business. But that trail that comes through here will create revenues for the city of St. Cloud through Ocala to Okeechobee. I yield back, Mayor. That's the only way I'm looking at it. And I apologize for this, but it's a great thing.
City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I was able to find my notes. I met with Dale Allen from Florida Greenways and Trail Foundation regarding that proposed trail. And when the question about the width was being discussed, Mr. Allen informed me that their plan was the trail would be a 12-foot multi-use trail. It's called the Lake to Lake Regional Ecotourism Trail. Originally, St. Cloud was not in the path, and Osceola County, according to Mr. Allen, I have not confirmed this with Osceola County, Osceola County proposed that they choose a path that goes through Sunbridge and connects to the city. We would be the last urban stop before 80 miles of rural trail, and that they were expecting this project to start in 2027 or 2028. So I just wanted to provide that additional information.
I'm on the board of Metroplex, so that's what I fought for. Seriously, that's what I fought for. Bring it through us. Let's get the revenue, let's get the citizens, let's get the tourists. So, again, I should explain that, but on the Metro Plan Board, that's what I fought for, is to bring this trail through St. Cloud. I yield back now.
All right, thank you. All right, so the two options, we can continue it or deny it, right, Dan? Or approve it.
Well,
Those are
you
the
could
three
deny
options.
the PSP right now, but it doesn't mean they can't bring it back to you at a later date once it's in. Technically, you'd have to deny because it's not consistent with the PUD. So, but I really think we can work through giving you more information and keep the project at least moving forward to a certain extent. And then at the end of the day, the applicant takes the risk that they come back in front of you and they basically, your position is you don't want to amend the PUD and they got to build the trail.
Okay. Joe, are you happy if we just continue it to the February meeting? Would that give you enough time?
Oh, of course, we'll continue to work. I understand Deputy Mayor Gilbert's position. I'm not sure I understand everybody else's, but if staff feels like they have direction to work with us on a cost for a sidewalk, is what I'm hearing, then we're happy to do that and present something back to you all, working with your Public Works folks to see what actually will work within that right-of-way.
Just so, if you continue to the February meeting, and we're fine with that, because that gives staff the time, the ability to get some information, and also council the ability to review that before the PUD ordinance comes back for an amendment. And that will, but it is an ordinance amendment, so that would, you wouldn't see the final PUD ordinance on that path until April, probably.
Well, I guess if we file a PD amendment now, because y'all only meet once a month, I want to try to delay or move forward some of that process. And maybe what we can do, I've not tried this before, but I think it might work, is to file 2 different PD amendments. And we could do that to make the process move faster.
That's between you and staff.
Well, we could do that.
Yep.
And, you know, the bottom line is, if they could file, respectfully, they could file 5 or 6 different amendments. If you deny all of them, then the PUD stays exactly the way it is today.
Right, but then that way, we know, you all make that decision, so then we can make sure the PSP fits with the PUD.
So you're working towards, over this next month, with staff to find a way to get that 10-foot trail in?
We're gonna work with staff to see if a 10-foot trail will go in, what those costs are, what some other options may be
Okay.
on width and things like that. Because I think movement is what you're looking for, pedestrian movement. You've got a lot of pedestrian movement throughout this development. You're missing that one little piece between Albany and Narcousie. It doesn't impact the regional trails in any way. But if a 7-foot path works there, you know, that meets what you're trying to achieve, and also would have, it may work from an engineering perspective. So we're happy
Right.
to explore all of those things with staff.
And Dan, the city side on this is we are to purchase any right-of-way additional or pay for any, say it needs stormwater. Is that on the applicant or on the city?
The way the condition read is that they would be responsible to construct it. The city would be responsible for acquiring any right-of-way needed to construct it. So if a pond or some sort of stormwater pond is needed, then the city would have to require the right-of-way to do it. I think we could discuss who builds the actual retention area, but the city at least would be required to acquire the property to do it.
Well, let's assume that there's not enough land for that. Then what do we do?
Under the terms of the current condition, the city would have to figure out how to acquire it, or it wouldn't get built.
Then we'd have to amend the PUD anyway.
Well, I'd have to look at that issue.
Well, I stumped you.
Well, you did, only because I'm picturing that, you know, the condition is written in there, and what the applicant would be able to move forward with developing their project if the city just said, we don't want to acquire the right-of-way, because the applicant would have been agreed to do everything they said they were going to do. The decision not to build the trail would actually land on the city for not acquiring the right-of-way. So the
Okay.
applicant would be able to move forward, and the trail obviously wouldn't get built.
Okay.
Thank you all for
Yes.
having the discussion.
Thank you, Joe. Do we need to vote to?
No, I
No?
don't think so. I think we got enough direction.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Can we
Thank you,
repeat
Kathleen.
the direction? Because I would feel more comfortable with that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What I heard was coming back, staff's gonna work with them on the 2 options. One showing hard numbers for the installation, and then the other one was taking it out. Was that correct?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Okay. That we were going to be, in the PUD amendment, evaluating 2 options. One with the hard numbers, including of the installation of the trail, and then the other option, taking it out.
Not
If,
requiring it.
if it didn't work.
If it doesn't work, we have to find a way of removing it. But I think staff needs to work with the applicant on figuring out if it can work through South Florida Water Management, what's required, I guess, to make it work.
So I guess I have a concern. I'm not an engineer.
Kevin?
But Kevin, to really determine if it's going to work, we need the construction plan level of detail, do we not? So that we're ensuring that we're looking at any utilities that are in the area in addition to the stormwater?
If we had a typical cross-section and we
Sorry.
had a survey for the area, I think we'd be able to get to, I'd call them 60% plans pretty quickly to be able to have an idea about what kind of areas you have. The biggest thing is, like I said, finding the pins, finding the elevations, because that's going to be the biggest issue is how you're going to be able to grade it to be able to make sure that it meets all the standards. Because like I said, with rural swale sections, they're not a constant area. There's ups and downs, and you can't have that in trails. You want to make sure that you actually are able to do that. And so without a little bit more of that data, we definitely would need some more information. That's why we had started with asking for a cross-section to be able to see what was being proposed, would be able to fit within the existing right-of-way. Because, like I said, if it's going to take 20 feet to be able to fit a 10-foot section through there, we're going to have a hard time. But if we could fit it in a 12 to 13-foot section, if we were able to get it up against the road with a vertical curb and be able to get a little creative like that, we might be able to fit it in a little bit easier. And
So you're comfortable with just a cross-section and a survey for us to be able to get hard numbers to determine if it's feasible?
Right, I think, like I say, once we have that, then
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about the geometry, so we're not asking to have, 100% plans, but it's just, once we have the geometry, we should be able to have a pretty good idea of what would be able to fit into the constraints.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
And I apologize for this being long. Kevin, are we good at building trails? Or when we have a developer say that they're gonna take care of it for us, that we work together with them? Or should we put our resources with the 34 projects that St. Cloud goes on, and we're growing, and we're not into the road business, we're in connectivity business? You think we should say, hey, we need to build a trail? Just yes or no, that's all I'm asking, and we're cool.
Well, we are in the process right now of building a trail along Rummel Road.
How long does it take?
That's not one of my projects.
Have we started it yet?
No, sir. We're in the process of being able to try to bid it
You
out
just
right now.
answered the question, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
So the direction was the two options, one with hard numbers and one with taking it out, right? Is that what that's what I was, okay.
Yep. All right, thank you, Kevin, thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
We're gonna go ahead and take a 5-minute break. All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting back to order. And will the clerk read item B?
Resolution number 2026-011R, a resolution of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, amending and updating the facility users agreement between City of St. Cloud and St. Cloud Little League, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Again, Stephanie Holcamp, Parks and Recreation Director. Oh, council action item, resolution number 2026-011R, the St. Cloud Little League Facility Use Agreement, it's a proposed agreement. I just want to give you some background information. A lot of this information was provided in the staff report. There's been some updates. So there'll be some information that you see on the slideshow that's not the same as the staff report because we received updated information late this afternoon. As you remember, we had a workshop back in March of 2025 where the direction was for staff to evaluate all of our facility use agreements, sports agreements, just regular facility user agreements with different organizations, and then the fee structures that are associated with those agreements and differentiate between city and county residents. So that led us to here in some other agreements. Staff developed a proposed Little League, St. Cloud Little League agreement and fee module to ensure equitable cost allocation between resident and non-residents. So I also want to stop for a moment. When I talk about resident versus non-resident, residents as it relates to this presentation are ad valorem taxpayers. Residents are people that pay taxes for the city. Non-residents are people that do not pay city taxes. Coordination meetings were conducted with St. Cloud Little League leadership throughout 2025. The first one was in May of 2025. Staff met with a newly appointed Little League president at the time, or the interim president, who later became the permanent Little League president, and the board members. At this time, the revised fee structure was discussed, that the fees were changing and the structure of how the fees would be changing. Little League leadership indicated the proposed was reasonable and raised no concerns at that time. Fast forward to October 13th of 2025, staff met again with the Little League president and board members to review proposed agreement changes and revised fees. Little League advised the proposal would be reviewed by their full board in early November. On December 19th, staff followed up regarding the board feedback since we hadn't received any yet. The Little League president indicated that they did have a red line version with comments and it would be provided to us. December 29th, staff received the red line version for review with their comments. Staff immediately prepared an updated agreement addressing their concerns for City Council. Staff met with Little League again on January 6, 2026, and came to an agreement on all terms with the exception of the fee structure. The city's annual cost to maintain the fields, the total annual cost to maintain all fields at the Civic Center complex, approximately $392,408. This includes the maintenance of the newly constructed fields. It's also important to note that these costs cannot be funded through Parks and Recreation impact fees. The annual ongoing maintenance and expenses, including staffing, operational costs, must be supported through the general fund. The maintenance of these fields, again, have to be paid for through the general fund. There were no grants utilized to fund the new ball field expansion project. Little League uses approximately 1,100 hours of field time annually, which equates to 60% of all field usage. Operation costs for baseball fields are approximately $257 per field, or per hour, per hour. Little League's current agreement has been in place since 2015 and requires $5 per participant per season, currently regardless you're a resident, non-resident. Little League sets their own fees for their program. We do not set any Little League fees. In 2019, Little League charged $91 to participants. In 2022, Little League charged $137 to participants. 2025, they charged $140, and this afternoon we found out they're charging $170 to participants starting spring of 2026. Recent participation for fall of 2024, 801 participants. Spring of 2025, 829 participants. I'm going to leave this slide up while I talk about the next slide, and then we'll stop at the next slide. So this information, this table of information, this is from spring of 2023 to spring of 2025 numbers. This participation data shows the majority of players are non-residents. On average, 56% of participants reside outside the city limits of St. Cloud. Non-resident participants do not contribute to property tax revenue to support field maintenance. City ad valorem taxpayers support non-resident participants. This is the data that I was just speaking of that correlates with the table I just showed you. Our field cost analysis, the city has an adopted rental rate policy for the Civic Center ball fields. It's as follows in the table below. So Monday through Friday for ad valorem taxpayers, $65 an hour, non-ad valorem's $85, and it goes up, getting more expensive on the weekends. So on the weekends, it's $85 an hour for a resident, $110 for non-resident. Then there's a field prep fee and a light fee if you're playing in the evening time. Comparable, the school district facilities charge approximately $435 per 2-hour block, including staffing and utilities. All fields are booked, that are booked through the school board are booked via online, their reservation portal now. To the best of my knowledge, that's what they've told me. The regional Little League comparison fee. St. Cloud Little League registration for 2026 is $170. This is the additional information that we received this afternoon. So in the staff report, it was $140. Comparable programs. This information came directly from the former Little League president at the time, back in March of 2025. St. Cloud Little League at the time charged $140. Celebration Little League charged $150. South Orange Little League, $150 to $190. Conway Little League, $175. Again, those prices from March of 2025. The proposed fee model that staff proposed to Little League was $200 per team per season and $75 per non-resident participant. This would provide a more equitable distribution of costs between the resident and non-resident users. Little League has the ability, again, to determine their own fees. What is the fiscal impact of this proposed model for St. Cloud Little League? The average participation, which is this numbers came from Little League, on average 50 teams per season, approximately 12 players per team. The base team fee, 50 teams times 200 is $10,000 per season. Cost per participant, $10,000 divided by 829 equals $12.07 per player. This is an increase of approximately $7 per participant if passed on to the participants. It's also important to note that this $7 per participant increase does not include if you are a non-resident. If you are a non-resident, which from the numbers we've been provided, 406 non-resident participants times 75 is $34,200. We met this past Tuesday with St. Cloud Little League and their executive board. There was four of them there, 4 or 5 of them. They had discussed about implementing a 3-year phased approach that was requested by them to gradually transition to the proposed fee model. Some other things that were talked about, the fall season, the start time would be adjusted to the 3rd week in August, so the last 2 weeks in August. They wanted on there because their season started in September, so they needed 2 weeks of practice, so we added those 2 weeks in August. Spring season, we clarified that the spring season would conclude following the completion of our All-Stars in case it went beyond the end of June. They also asked if we would provide them 2 keys instead of 1. That wasn't a problem. Okay. So the summary of the presentation, I apologize, there's many slides. 56% of all, 56% of participants live outside of city limits of St. Cloud. Little League has paid only $5 per participant to the city since 2015. City does not determine Little League fees. Little League has increased their fees from $91 in 2019 to $70 in 2026. Staff proposal would increase fees paid to the city from $5 per participant to approximately $12 per participant. Non-residents would pay an additional $75 per participant per season. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. Really quick, you said that no grants were used to build the new park.
That is correct.
The 7 fields, the 17 million, where did that money come from?
Debt.
That
We got a bond.
Okay. Any of that,
From all these folks.
Parks and Rec?
The bond is
Impact-
guaranteed by city ad valorem taxpayers.
Everybody that lives here.
Impact fees at all?
Impact fees can be used to repay the bond. They can't be used to secure the bond.
They're a repayment source. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna let council have any comments prior to any public participation.
If I may.
Deputy Mayor.
If I may, thank you, Mayor. I coached for 26 years, Harmony football, basketball, baseball, girls track, girls. I had 5 children that all participated in sports and activities. And we did the Little League, but we did AAU, USSSA, and all the other functions. And although it did cost, 5 kids there, 5 years apart, it was the social what they got from it, not just the sport, the social encounters, the coaches, the teams, this. As a coach, there's not a dollar that can put onto it. They're just not. There's not. However, you know, I paid for Florida prepaid college. I did SRNs. I had 5 kids at college at the same time. You know, 8 beanie weenies the whole time. But part of that, the leagues helped them succeed. So now, as a city council person, I have to juggle. Do I want the taxpayers that are 97% of the taxpayers that don't play baseball to pay $350,000 out of taxpayer money? Or do I want the 3 or 4% that play baseball not to be able to pay the cost of doing business? I struggle with it. I'm sure every citizen here would. I'm sure every business and parent would. There's not a good answer, but costs have gone up. In 2015, we didn't raise prices. So you're looking at 16 years of no prices raised. They said, well, do an escalation of pricing. If we raise the prices by 4% each year, that'd be over 70%. And we can make math, you can do whatever you want math, good math, bad math. But I asked the citizens of St. Cloud and the council, is what is fair to the 98% of the citizens in St. Cloud that don't, they could be participating in volleyball, they can participate in BMX, skateboarding, shuffling, pickleball. And then when we raise their rates, are they gonna say, hey, we don't wanna pay for it, let the baseball people pay for it? So I don't have that answer right now, Stephanie. I just know that it's a foundation of the growth of the children and the social expectations of children that are in sports or in activities. But I also know that the city has to pay for it somehow. So I wish I had an answer, but I don't, but I see the problem. But the rate increases have to exist. Nobody's electrical bill in 2015 is in 2026. We still have to use electrical. So I'm so glad that these folks are here. Council, I really wish I could have an answer to it, but we have to find some kind of meeting to say, we want this stuff. But we don't want 97% of the people that don't have kids or grandkids or cousins or in baseball to pay for it. So I implore everybody here and the mayor and council, let's figure a solution out. But $7 per kid, my wife goes to Starbucks every Friday, it's $8. But I'm not saying that she can't, because I wouldn't be married. But we have to kind of figure that out. Now, I hope the citizens and the council will help us do that today, because I think baseball is a great, my dad played for the Yankees and the Tigers. I didn't make it, I didn't play that well. But those things happen, it's a great social experience. So I yield back to you, Mayor. I wish I had a comment for that had some stability.
Yeah, and I would agree that this is an important program in the community. It shows, obviously, the parents and the public here tonight. I know y'all care deeply about it, as I do. I grew up on these fields ever since, I had a brother that was 2 years older than me, so I spent the first 15 years of my life on those fields, every single Saturday. Either my mom was coaching or my dad was coaching, all the way through. One of your members on your board, I grew up through the baseball with him, and actually one of our sergeants, the police department, was the only person to strike me out that year. So everybody that knows me knows I've 100% supported this. You guys, we're in a unique position up here where we are. Yes, we are the city. All powers are vested in the city council, but we are citizens, and we work for you. We are representatives, your representatives here. We represent you. But we also represent the city. So it's a very unique situation that we're in. And I know all of us love this community, and we want to do the best we can. And as we continue to grow, we have a lot of growing pains. And I think the fact that there has not been an increase in all of these years, I think that kind of, it hurts a little bit, the increase. I don't know that what has been proposed is the answer. I know y'all have spoken with Little League about a step-up program. Stephanie, can you describe a little more about that, what you mentioned?
Yeah, so we discussed a step-up program. I'm just going to grab my.
Yeah, you're fine. Take your time. We're not going anywhere. I want to thank all of y'all for hanging out all night until we got to this. So thank you for coming, and it shows that you do care about this community and the program.
Yeah, so it'd be a step-up program over 3 years. So at the spring of we had discussed spring of 2026 and fall of 2026. Those two seasons would be $150 per team and a $25 non-resident fee. That's year one. Again, that was $150 per team and then $25 for non-residents. 2027, both seasons, it would be $175 a team and a $50 non-resident fee. So $175 per team, $50 non-resident fee. And then in year 3, we would get to the $200 per team and $75 for non-resident.
All right, so year one, 2016, when would that be implemented? If we went down this path?
Spring of 2026. Now,
That's right now. And that is, they're currently accepting registration on that. That is the program they're working on right now.
I believe so. I believe registration is open. You'll have to, yeah, Little League will have to answer that question.
I'm sure I've got a few from Little League here. All right, thank you. And folks, I'm asking all these questions because we don't get to talk about this outside of a meeting, so we have to sit here and understand this from everybody's viewpoint right here in front of everybody. So it's, while we can talk to staff and we can talk to Little League and we talk to parents, you know, and obviously sometimes we get the advice of consultants. We're shown one side, and when we're not shown the other side, we don't know how it plays out in real life. So if we don't currently have kids out there playing, we're not seeing how it's being played out, and sometimes we don't always get it right the first go around. So that's why we're always willing to revisit every single thing. If we want to talk about something that we voted on 40 years ago, I'm open to it. So thank you, Stephanie, for laying that out. So year one, was that something that Little League was, they were okay with the year one, paying that for year one?
It was a step up, yeah, when we met with them on January 6th. Now, it wasn't the entire board, but it was the league president and some of the other executive board members, and that was what was discussed.
Okay, Councilmember Urban, I'll go ahead and let you chime in.
Yeah, thank you. So I would echo the same comments. Love baseball. It's the true American pastime sport. Little League, one of the best in the entire United States, so I completely support it. I would also be in support of the Step Up program to phase it in. One of the questions I have is, and I've heard from several people who maybe they don't physically live in the city, but they own businesses or property in the city where they pay taxes into the city. Could we find a way for those business owners or property owners in the city who have kids to pay the resident rate? Is that something, might be an attorney question?
We've done that in the past where if a particular applicant or requester can demonstrate that they own real property and therefore they're paying ad valorem taxes in the city, that they would get the resident rate, even if they didn't physically reside in the city.
I would like to propose doing something like that if the council would be interested in that as well.
All right, thank you, sir. So Harmony's got a Pop Warner, but they're not looking at in that area. There's no plans. The county's not looking at, they're not doing a Little League out in that area, right? So all of those kids, everybody way out in Harmony, they all play St. Cloud Little League. If they played Little League.
If they were within Little League's boundaries, St. Cloud Little League's boundary. I'm not sure the exact boundaries. I saw the Little League president here. She can probably explain more on the boundaries and how far they reach.
So anybody in the JPA qualifies for our Little League. If they're in Orange County, do they play in our Little League, or is that in another?
I don't know the exact boundaries. And I do know from speaking to the president that I think the city of Kissimmee is getting a Little League, but not a full, like, baseball, softball. She's here if you want to ask her to explain that.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna talk to the president of Little League.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and call Councilmember Paul first.
So I do want to say, I think we should come to at least a balance. And in our JPA, I did pull, and it states, it is further acknowledged that the city allows residents of unincorporated Osceola County to benefit from the additional services provided by the city. Therefore, the county agrees to support efforts by the city of St. Cloud to fund this higher LOS, which is level of service standards for parks and recreation facilities for new development within the JPA. Does that incorporate residents already established, or is this for residents incoming in?
I think you were referencing the JPA, right?
Yes.
The Joint Planning Area. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't know that incorporates everybody in the county that plays for St. Cloud Little League, just
Within this.
the JPA. city manager, and then I'll go to council members.
Sure. Regarding that section of the JPA helps us with the counties, provides us with Parks and Recreation impact fees for any new construction within the JPA. That language is basically saying that, yeah, we do allow county residents to use our facilities, but it doesn't outline how much county residents have to pay to use our facilities, but it does cover that they're going to contribute through Parks and Recreation impact fee donation to the city to help us build additional facilities.
Correct, so we're not saying the county residents can't play in these parks within the city limits.
Correct. And I previously did ask the county manager if they would contribute to the cost, since there were so many county residents in our program. I brought it up a few times.
What was your answer?
No.
Okay. Councilmember Fletcher.
I just wanted to make some general comments before I know we're going to be taking public comment. I grew up in our Parks and Rec programs. I've said it many times. I think we have one of the best Parks and Rec programs in the entire country. Almost every child, teenager, whatnot, that grows up in our city touches Parks and Rec somehow. Whether it's coming to an event downtown, Veterans Park, playing somewhere, it helps with their upbringing and basically what St. Cloud is all about. So as we go through this, we'll eventually get to a spot, but I appreciate everybody taking the time to join us here this evening. It really means a lot. It shows how much you're dedicated to your city. So thank you for being here, and we can move forward.
Deputy Mayor.
I just agree with you, Sean. I just agree 1,000%. These programs are necessary. We're trying to help the citizens by taking some cost factors. But sports in general, even the glee club, even the band, that's always necessary in the growth of our children. I agree with Councilmember Urban. Let's step it up. Let's go year. We should have done this in 2015. We wouldn't be having this meeting today. But for 11 years, we haven't increased our prices. I guarantee you fertilizer's gone up, labor's gone up, water's gone up, security's gone up, and even light bills have gone up. So what we say is, hey, we're cool, and then 10 years later, hey, we're gonna stump you with this. So people can handle step-ups better than they can handle an upgrade. And I'm gonna ask my wife not to get Starbucks because it's $8 and it's $7. I yield back to you.
All right. Councilmember Paul.
With these agreements with other organizations, I think this also should be something we look at, of looking at all the agreements that might be outdated, and so we don't have this problem in the future again, and no surprises.
Councilmember Fletcher.
So when we were talking about the rate between residents and non-residents, how do we verify? How do we verify that? I'm
How do you
curious.
verify the resident versus non-resident?
Right, how do we, is it submitted by them? How do we look at that?
We have a process.
Yeah, they provide an Excel spreadsheet. Well, the former president would supply Excel registration spreadsheets, strictly just the addresses of the participants. No names included, no ages, just addresses. We give them to our GIS folks. They'd map out the location. That's how we know exactly where they're from.
Deputy Mayor, you got more?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Mayor. I yield back. I apologize.
All right. I agree in a step-up program. I think, although I think within the 3 years, I think they're looking at these numbers and it's scaring the hell out of them. I think that there's some unknowns as to what's going to happen in Tallahassee this year. So what I want to do is go ahead and allow some of the public comment, all of the public comment, and then then we can wrap it up with more council discussion if we'd like to after that. I think maybe we'll learn some more. So thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate it. Is that it? Is that all for us?
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Stephanie.
First up, let me go ahead and ask the Little League President, Danielle. I'm going to butcher your name. Momenteller? Did I do it right?
Yes.
All right.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. Danielle Momenteller, 3413 Village Green Court, St. Cloud, Florida. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, and City Manager, City Attorney, and staff. My name is Danielle, and I'm the president of St. Cloud Little League. For the past 50 years, St. Cloud Little League has been more than a sports program. It has been a foundation of this community. These fields are where childhood memories are made, where kids learn teamwork, resilience, and confidence, where they learn how to win with humility, lose with grace, and keep going when things get hard. This is not just a place to play ball. It's a brotherhood and a sisterhood. Excuse me. It's a second home. For some kids, it's the only consistent positive outlet they have. It is a mentorship and a guidance. It is about creating better humans for our community. This league exists because of its volunteers. People have poured their blood, sweat, and tears into this complex. They have donated their time, resources, and energy because they believed in this city and its kids. We didn't just use this park. We've invested in it. We've took pride in it. We've bought back into it. Quite simply, we cannot afford an increase of this magnitude. Absorbing the cost this large would force impossible choices, choices that would directly impact our families and, more importantly, the children. Our goal is to continue to make it affordable and not outprice our program. Youth sports should never become a privilege. It should remain an opportunity. This program matters to me deeply, not just as the president, but as a parent. My own son grew up on those fields. He is an adult, and I'm still here, still fighting for the kids and families of this community who deserve the same opportunities he had. So tonight I ask you, not just as council members, but as leaders and neighbors, to stand with us and work with us and find a solution that allows this program to continue without pricing families out. Please do not let a 50-year legacy end on a spreadsheet. We know the fee has to go up. We are requesting to move forward with a 1-year contract instead of a 5-year proposal. This allows time for us to see what the year brings with the increased fees to the league aside from the player increase alone. We are very concerned with this fee and feel due to such an increase, a yearly agreement would be best for this year and next. We respectfully request that you consider accepting a counteroffer of $150 per team and $25 per non-resident as an amendment, which is a $30K per year increase and a $21.50 per player increase. I've given you guys the breakdown. I know the numbers are a little jaded. We do have 75 teams in the spring, which is 900 kids. And we have 50 teams in the fall, which is 600 kids. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Boy, you
and your service.
right on 3 minutes. Look at that. Hold on, and we got a lot of questions,
Okay.
Danielle. You are
If
the
I
chosen one.
Okay.
I want to thank you first. I know you stepped into a big role. I think last president was there for 15 years or so, right? Or 12 years, I don't know.
17.
17 years, yeah.
Yes.
And I know it's a lot of work that the parents and the coaches, and I don't think you even have a child playing right now,
No.
right? And I know Franny doesn't, and I know Ryan doesn't. I mean, I know.
There's quite a few of us.
Yeah,
that are-
stepping up for the betterment of the community, for our children, it's amazing. And I remember, Dale Wheeler was one of my coaches,
Yeah.
and he was another one. Even
He's
after
still
his
there.
kids were out of there, he was still coaching or
Yes.
umpiring, and those were great days. The kids remember those days. I know Franny's husband Jim. You played those fields, right? And I remember the days. Opening day, you'd have the wild pig catch,
Yeah,
the
oh,
grease pig
well.
contest, or beating
Well,
on the cars
one of our
with
board
a
members wants to
sledgehammer.
bring it back, so.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Maybe it will happen.
It's an important part of our community, as you know that. We've discussed this for how many hours? I don't know.
Yes,
You and I
several.
have spoken a lot,
Yeah.
and with Franny and Ryan as well, and even when Dwayne was around, I spoke with him a lot. I support this 100% for 1 year. I think you're still paying what was agreed upon in the step-up program just in year one. It lets cooler heads prevail. It lets everybody give a little breathing room. It gets our kids playing ball. And we're not missing out on anything. We're just not, and we're not saying we're not stepping it up the next year. It's allowing y'all a chance to better understand your program this year and how these fees apply to it. And it lets us understand what happens in Tallahassee this year, come June. So I support that. I appreciate you presenting that, because that year one was already agreed upon between you and city staff,
It-
I believe.
It was.
Between
I
you.
just candid,
You-
right.
not as your
We-
board, but
Right,
you.
it actually was brought by the deputy city manager.
Yes.
He proposed that three-step up.
Okay.
We did say at that time, we would go back to the board with it, so it was never really verbally agreed upon. I also told Stephanie that on the phone yesterday, that we never said it out loud. Not that, not that we weren't going to agree to the year one increase. I just wanted that to be clear, that it was never.
Yeah, until your board votes and signs it,
Yes,
there's no
yes.
agreement.
And as you said, the 3-year is a scary number for us. To go year 3, 4, and 5 at that rate is scary for us when we don't know the variables.
It just gives everybody a little more breathing room to,
Yes.
I think there's other moving parts that need to be worked out as well, with batting cages and whatever else, so.
A lot of expenses.
Right, and that's where I just believe that's a fair deal. Scott, thank you for working with the Little League on this 3-step-up program. I believe you've worked out year one. And I think we have more work to do, and I think we've been talking about that. We don't always get it right, and it's great when we can revisit this kind of stuff. And, we didn't have an opportunity for a workshop. Obviously, we have to get you guys under contract for this year, for this season, so I support that. I don't know what the pleasure of the council is. I know, if there's other people in the audience that'd like to speak on this as well, but I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I support that year one.
I would agree with that. Mayor, sorry if I may speak. I appreciate you bringing that forward and what you can do now for the league, because we do got to get it underway. I would support that. So thank you, Mayor.
All right, and it's not, we're just saying this year, it's a 1-year agreement.
To be
get things
revisited
going.
for 2027?
And we can start revisiting it next week.
Okay.
And I want to hear from every citizen.
might need to.
I want to take a tour of the facility, have of the modern facility, everything that's going on. We'll see you out there on Saturday. We've got 19 of these. If everybody wants 3 minutes, we'll be here all night, but I think Franny wants to talk. I think she's standing up right now, so we'll have Franny McNutt come on up here and talk.
I'm getting antsy.
Ron? All right, well, at least we'll start with the board members here.
I'm going to start by piggybacking on most of what Danielle said, and someone else said you guys look really great, and the chairs are comfortable. So I do firmly believe, and I believe on the majority of the board members, and we know that it's time for increases. That, to us, is a no-brainer. Like you said, fees go up, everything goes up. So this is definitely overdue, so we appreciate you guys helping us come to a resolution on it. I have just a couple of concerns. I'm the player agent. For those that don't know, I have been sitting on the board for 23 years. My kids are old enough to have children of their own. So I love this place. With that, I did bring up a concern with the prior, how it was handled with us giving you guys the addresses. I did ask if that could be addressed with the attorney. That, when I did my own research on the matter, I came to the understanding that we were not allowed to disclose that. So I feel like on behalf of the Little League, we would like to have some background and confirm that we are giving out information that we're legally able to do so.
City attorney.
So you're not giving the identity of the individuals, you're only giving street addresses basically and zip codes. And so as long as you're not tying it to a particular person, individual, family, or individual, I don't think there's any issues with that.
Okay. Given that information, that brings me to our next matter, which is how you would like us, and I think this might be something that you might have to talk amongst yourselves, maybe come back and give us directive on it. But we are not equipped to give you the difference of resident, non-resident. Our platform that we use to register our players is not that intelligent. And honestly, I believe that you guys enlist a GIS for the same services, which we don't have in our budget to accommodate. So with that, I think the majority of the uproar that you guys are hearing is because the fee that you're facilitating is going to have to be something that everybody within the program feels, because there's not a way for us to differentiate. And coming after the season's over to try to collect those fees is not something that we have the resources to try to do as well.
Okay.
So these are just some concerns I wanted to bring up regarding the here.
I think we have an
feedback
answer
that you've
for you.
gotten.
City
Okay.
attorney first.
Well, I understood the question to be a little different once you got to the end of it all, but for the agreement, we would expect that they would give us the addresses for everybody that registered, right? The way the agreement works, there are no fees to be paid to the city until the conclusion of the season, right? So there, I agree that's probably an issue that would have to be worked out. I'll leave it up to Veronica to explain why, but it wouldn't seem to be too difficult for the city to basically verify the resident versus non-resident information fairly early on, as soon as we get the data from the registration rolls for the league, and provide that information to the league so they know we verified there are X number of residents and Y number of non-residents.
All right, city manager.
Early on.
Thank you. I was gonna say, we'll obviously work with you. The earlier we get addresses, we can help verify it. However, the city also has a GIS portal on our website that you can type in any address and it will tell you if it's in the city limits or not. So you will, at your hands, have that information. There's maps, you can look at it. Property appraiser website also has that. Tax District 100 is the city of St. Cloud, but we'll work with you throughout the process. There's multiple resources, even if you don't have a GIS tech like we do, who is amazing, but we'll work with you.
But that, in that GIS map, we put a lot of money into that. That's a
Yes.
great, very intense thing, yeah.
Since I have just a couple minutes left, or a couple seconds, I'm just gonna throw out there, since you guys have seen me up here before and you know that I have ideas. So I think it wouldn't be a bad idea for you guys to come up with a player package that you charge the residents and collect the fee, and then you would eliminate us and we pay you our facility fee. Just something to think about for the future.
Please talk to Stephanie on that to see how I think she can tell you how that works.
May I
Thank you.
comment on that?
Thank you, Franny.
May I comment on that,
Yeah,
Mayor? I don't
Deputy.
think we need to get into the player registration. I
All
just
right.
don't.
Yeah, and those are all things that are not, those are other details that can be
Right,
worked
I just
through.
don't
I
think
just think,
that's us.
right now, we need to work on this year one thing. And Ron Preister, name and address for the record.
Yeah.
Priester.
Good evening, everybody. And first of all, I'd like to thank all of our participants who came tonight on very short notice, as you guys probably know. And as it's been said so far, it demonstrates exactly the dedication, the commitment to what we're doing and trying to do going forward. Just a couple of things. My name is Ron Priester. My address is 2712 Cherry Blossom Loop. I live in Sunbridge, I think it was mentioned. However, I'm one of those parents who have two kids that came through the league when we moved here from Illinois, Chicago. Immediately got into Little League, and we've been in ever since. So both my kids are through college now, and we're still dedicated to the league. A couple things that need to be clarified. It sort of seems that the league has full responsibility, and we do to an extent, for the registration fees. But those registration fees also include some costs that are mandated from Little League International. We're affiliated with Little League Internationals. We run by their rules, their regulations. We participate in All-Stars, which is part of Little League International. That's the televised version of the tournament. So we adhere to their guidelines. We also pay them fees, insurance. So my point is, and I realize there's a limited amount of time, there are fees that within that 170 that we talked about, and we did look forward, anticipating that there would be some increase, and we agree that everything is going up. We realize that. We agree with that. The step-up program is something we also thought about ahead of time. So if we can get an agreement on this year, plus the step-up program that gives us some opportunity to understand what the homestead exemption and other things that are up in the air are going to have an impact on us, that would be very helpful. In addition to that, we are very happy about some of the new facilities. I think most people have seen them. Those new facilities, however, come with some significant costs for us. For example, just the pitching mounds for the multipurpose fields, before we get started, in a couple of weeks, is gonna cost us $20,000 for those portable pitching mounts. So the city is also helping us with that, but it's an example of the increased cost that we're gonna see. And one of the other things in the final 17 seconds here, I think most of the citizens here will tell you that beyond just all the benefits that we've talked about, when we represent St. Cloud in All-Stars, all of the uniforms, all of the fees, and All-Star fees, by the way, are in addition to what we're talking about. So lots of costs. I think our ask is that we workshop this. We understood there is a workshop process where we can really detail all of the budget issues that we have. Would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Ron, thank you. I think going through your first year, I think there's a y'all need to understand how this is gonna play out over this first year so that we can figure out what to do next year. That's why I believe in just a 1 year and not jump right into the step up, but do the 1 year that was gonna be the step up. Councilmember Fletcher.
I just wanted to echo the same comments, actually. So it kind of sounds like Little League's going through the same thing that we're going through. So our costs and everything is going up. Therefore, the same thing is happening with Little League. So I think that the year one is a good solution for that exact reason, so that you have the opportunity to go through and see like all these new additional charges. How is all this going to play out? And then we can come back in the following year and then wrap it all together where we know, where we're at.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Paul.
I do support the 1 year agreement, but I also think there is room for a workshop where we all sit at the table and have a conversation moving forward. So that way we can at least all come to a balance, because yes, we still want to see the youth out in the community doing what they love to do. So I think a workshop is definitely necessary.
Okay. Well, so far, I'm seeing 3 council members, myself and 2 others that are in support of the 1 year. So, if everybody wants their 3 minutes and beat a dead horse, but I think that's kind of the direction that everybody wants to see this. I will ask the St. Cloud Little League president if she can come back up here for 1 second before we move on. Going back to the conversation earlier. So you are still in support of 1 year.
Yes.
And then we can talk, have a workshop later. I think any of y'all can contact any of your council members here and invite them out to the ball fields, give them details. I've spent numerous hours talking to the Little League members, the board members, so.
I think for us, we would be able to sleep easier.
Yeah.
Like Councilmember Fletcher had said, there's a lot of variables. Ron mentioned the expenses, and we don't know what this year is going to bring for us. So any kind of jump with all the other increases, uniform, we pay over $150,000 a year in uniforms and equipment. So when you're looking at these numbers that we're getting on the screen, we're worried about going under. And that is not what we want, all these people. And
Yeah, I think
coaches
you
and
said
kids.
you're just celebrating your 50 years of being a charter.
Actually, we just got our
Little League.
certificate this year. It's our golden year.
Congratulations.
It's our 50th year chartering a Little League.
Very cool. Councilmember Gilbert.
Just one question. As the city's grown, I know our mayor's was born and raised there. I've only been here for 36 years and I have 5 kids from here. But St. Cloud was 9,000 folks, and that was our district.
Right.
So my kids played AAU, they played USSSA, they played Little League. We did all that stuff. Is there anything in Little League that says, hey, man, Harmony's getting bigger? So when can we redistrict where all these kids are getting it? And our kids from St. Cloud, I don't like to see the 56% of the folks that we're paying $340,000 for not to be in the city. Not that I don't want every kid to do it. I would love to sponsor them all, but how, when can we redistrict? I mean, that's.
So, to your point, I'm glad you brought that up. We, for those of you that don't know, we follow the boundaries given to us by Little League International. So we don't have a say in who can play for us. So with this differential, we don't have a say in that. We're thinking about all of the kids in our community as a whole, as one unit, right? Our boundaries are set. There's no other Little Leagues. Actually, St. Cloud Little League is one of the largest leagues in the southeast region. Forever. In the state as well. So for us, we have such a large area of children that can come and play for us, which is only expanding. As Stephanie mentioned, Kissimmee is starting a Little League, but only softball. So they are taking some of the boundary back. However, any player that has played for us is grandfathered in, so they can continue to play for us. For baseball, they want to move us out further to John Young Parkway and absorb, Celebration can absorb some, South Orange can absorb some, and then St. Cloud will absorb some.
Yeah.
So that, we're looking at that as well when we're thinking about fees coming in the future.
Yeah, and Deputy Mayor Gilbert, as we continue to annex in within the JPA, they will become citizens, and that ratio will kind of be a little better.
I just don't, and I love Little League, right? You AAA, AU coach for 26 years. I would just like to ask you a favor. Can you go to them and say, we're not 9,000 folks. When Ken Gilbert moved in 1989, we're 70 or 80,000.
Yeah.
And so was Celebration, so was something else. So if any were to expand Little League, we're in the heart of it. I mean, look at the U-Haul.
Unfortunately,
Look at
they
U-Haul.
have to
We
have.
got more people coming here from U-Haul, they won't even go back over.
Unfortunately, they have to have fields somewhere to play on and someone to
Right.
want to start it up, and it's a
Right.
lot of work.
I did in South Orange. You remember the South Orange?
Yes.
Off of Orange Avenue?
Yes.
Yeah, you remember the Bears. I mean, those things happen, but it takes great people like you and your staff and the volunteers and all the parents to say, right, we gotta do that. But again, I appreciate you all and
Thank you
appreciate
so
what you do.
much. I
I'm a
appreciate it.
parent and a grandparent, and what you all do and what these folks do here, I'm honored, and it makes I'm gonna be.
Thank you so much. It
I'm
means
gonna
a
be a
lot.
water baby right now, because you guys are cool, man. You guys
It
are
means a
good-
lot.
Good folks.
We really care about the kids.
Councilmember Irvin.
I just wanted to say I appreciate everybody being here tonight and sticking around for this. I've received probably 50 emails today. I couldn't possibly get back to all of them. So I wanted to just tell you now, I really appreciate it. I did read every single one of them, and I appreciate the input in the emails. I'm perfectly fine moving forward with this one-year plan. And as the mayor mentioned, you can always reach out to us directly. Our public phone number and email address is on the website. Please feel free to reach out to us. I'd love to come visit the Little League, and looking forward to being there Saturday and playing a game with you guys.
All right. Do you want me to continue going through the list of public comment? Does everybody else still want to speak?
Anybody?
Christie, we'll go ahead and Christie Dupay.
I just want to say thank you all, and I also want to thank all our wonderful families that have showed up tonight, past and present, to show you guys how important this program is.
Yes, thank you all.
Good evening, Mayor.
We recognize you.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Christy Depew.
Sorry.
I've been living in St. Cloud since 2002, and I began volunteering with the St. Cloud Little League in 2004. In all my years of involvement, I have never experienced a stronger sense of community than I have found within our Little League family. In 2009, my friend John Jambroni had a vision to create a Challenger League here in St. Cloud. For those who may not be familiar, the Challenger League is an all-inclusive baseball league designed specifically for children and adults with special needs. Our athletes receive the full Little League experience with accommodations in place to ensure their success and safety. One of the most meaningful aspects of our program is the use of volunteer buddies who assist our athletes on the field, allowing parents the rare opportunity to simply sit in the bleachers and watch their child play, an experience that most of them do not often get. This program is only possible because of the incredible support we receive, not just from our sponsors, but also from St. Cloud Little League itself. Our sponsors generously cover all registration costs for our Challenger families, recognizing that many already face significant medical and caregiving expenses that far exceed those of an average family. In addition, St. Cloud Little League consistently goes above and beyond to support our program by accommodating our field needs and even providing financial assistance when our funds are low. Their commitment ensures our athletes are never left without the opportunity to play. The proposed fee increase poses a serious and immediate threat to the future of our Challenger League. The portion of the increase that specifically targets non-residents would disappropriately affect our program, as many of our Challenger athletes travel from surrounding communities, some as far as Orlando, to participate in our league. Families seek out our program because it is truly one of a kind, offering a level of inclusion, support, and dignity that is rarely found elsewhere. Implementing this increase would place an undue burden on the very families and sponsors who make this inclusive opportunity possible. Passing these costs on to our family is not feasible. Without our sponsor assistance and the community flexibility of Little League, our Challenger League would cease to exist altogether. This would be devastating loss, not only just for our athletes and families, but our entire community. The Challenger League represents inclusion, compassion, and the very best of what St. Cloud has to offer. I respectfully ask you to reconsider the unintended consequences this proposed fee increase would have on our program like ours. We are not just a league, we are family, and we provide opportunities that truly change lives. Thank you for your time, your service, and your consideration.
Thank you, Christy. How many players are in the Challenger League?
This season, last season, we had 42.
42. And these are all special needs
Yes, sir.
children?
Very exciting.
You'll see a majority of them on Saturday.
What are the fees that are currently being paid for them? Do they pay the same fees as
They do not,
every?
they do not pay.
No, they don't pay.
I get sponsors from the city, from our local businesses here. We have a grant that Osceola County gives us every year. And that's how, so we don't pass any of the costs on to our families.
So.
Because of the costs they have.
If
to deal
those
with.
fees, but there is a fee that the city charges for
Correct.
that. So there is a fee from our side to.
Yes, but our sponsorship pays
But they
it.
get sponsored, okay. Is it the same fee right now? Do we currently charge the same fee?
Are they registered through the Little League?
They are.
Yes, then it would be the same.
Okay.
There's no difference.
Yeah, and that's a hard thing for me. That, you said there's 42 kids?
May I suggest something, Mayor?
Yes,
Can
sir.
we waive those fees
Deputy Mayor.
and waive those, I mean, I don't think any citizen of the city of St. Cloud wouldn't be willing to waive a fee for those 42 or 50 people.
How many children in all of Little League do we have? So what are we looking at, like 42 of how many?
Of the 900. and
900 and
that you
something,
guys
right?
have.
So it's not, Councilmember Fletcher.
I would absolutely agree with that.
Okay, then let's go ahead and, if we can work that into, we got 3 here already. Everybody's good with that? Scott, Stephanie, if we can work that in, waive the 42?
So if I could, so what you're suggesting is that the non-resident fee you're considering not apply to the non-residents in that program?
Yeah,
No, the special needs folks.
That's what I mean,
are-
yeah.
the non-resident fee.
Whoever they
yes.
are, they need to be welcome.
Well, we're operating on this, if they register through the Little League and the 42 participants, some of whom are obviously
Okay.
city residents, some of whom are non-residents, so the council is inclined to say the additional charge we talked about for the first year, the $25 non-residence fee, would not apply to the non-residents in that program. I think that's what I said.
The $25 non-resident fee, that doesn't exist right now, correct?
That's correct, but that's part of the, that would be what
Of
you're
the
talking about,
step-up.
of the step-up, yes.
Let's treat them separate if we can, if that's good for you guys. So the 42, how many teams is that?
4.
Okay, so no 150 per team or $25 non-resident fee, just what you guys are currently, would that be?
Yes, that would be
Okay.
amazing.
Scott, we can find a way, Stephanie, to incorporate that into the 1 year?
We can work that out.
Okay,
We can find a way to make that work.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Good idea, guys. Thank you, Christy. Marlena McNutt.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Marlena McNutt. I live at 4212 Lavender Way. Was I supposed to tell you anything else?
You're doing good.
Okay.
No, we're good. Have a nice evening.
Much of what I agree with and support has already been expressed, so I'd like to pass on my 3 minutes. So
Very
thank
cool.
you and have a
Thank you
great
for
night.
coming tonight.
Thank you for your attendance. It was awesome, man.
Nick Ide. Did I pronounce that right? Ide.
I think he just left.
He left? Okay. All right, Michael Burgess. You good? All right, Nellie Hernandez.
I just want to say thank you for.
Oh, you have to come to the podium. Sorry, Nellie.
Sorry.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Take up 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's just gotta, yeah, it's gotta be on the record.
I
It's-
apologize. I'm Nellie Hernandez. My address is 4853 East Earlo Bronson. Sorry, I'm out of breath from walking all that in heels. I apologize. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for helping out the Little League. We are very much involved with helping out the children. I think that's very important to us. Involved kids in sports means that they are out of the streets and they're not doing anything they shouldn't. So we appreciate you guys considering the first year. So I just want to say thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Nellie. All right, next up, Carrie Burgess. You good? Jennifer Psalm.
Hi, Jennifer Psalm, 3465 Court Avenue, St. Cloud, and I have a lot of grandkids in the program. I'd like to thank you for taking the first year into consideration. I would also like to just hope that we can get a little bit of a timeline of the workshop so it can get started and this process can be shortened a lot. It seems like there was a lot of back and forth between the city and Little League and no resolution. So if we could start the workshop as soon as possible, we can get this all said and over with before the next season starts. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, and I think that as our city has grown, it's been a difficult progress here for our staff, for Scott and our assistant deputy city manager and our Parks and Rec director, Stephanie. I know our staff's worked hard to figure this out and try to come up with something that would please the rest of us. So, city attorney.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, as we move forward, the discussion has clearly been around a one-year agreement. So just to clarify, the way I understand that would include the spring season and the upcoming fall season. So a new agreement would not be needed to be in effect until after the fall season of 2026.
Correct. So it'd include this season
It'd be
that
one
we're
full
about to play.
one full calendar
Calendar
year.
versus fiscal, right?
Right.
Yeah, calendar versus season, yeah.
Okay, yes. Danielle, is that Balser? Balser? Danielle? You're good? Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Stephanie Suffield. Stephanie, she left? Okay, we'll wait on her if she wants to come back. Vita Uber Tatiano. Huh? Was I close on that?
Not even.
You don't even
I'm
know.
sorry. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, Mayor.
Robert Suffield. Okay, he's probably out in the overflow as well. Timothy Psalm, Jr.
Won't need 3 minutes. My name's Timothy Psalm Jr. I live at 4104 Bob White Court. A little bit about me before I get started. My family, for generations, has used the Little League. Actually, Mikey was one of my coaches when I was a child. So I have 5 kids that play in this league, and I'm so against the out-of-county fees. I've been a coach here for 5 years straight. You know, it's a big part of my life, and when I do the math, the numbers on the 3 years, in 3 years, my price for my 5 children will be doubling. And I just don't think that's something that.
May I ask a question, Mayor?
Deputy Mayor.
There's different programs that you're involved in, and it might not be Little League, but sometimes the coaches either didn't have to pay or got is that not the Little League? Again, it's just a broad question. Some of the USSSA and AAU coaches, kids didn't have to, there's participation fee or a discount because the coaches volunteered their time.
And
Is
there
that not
is,
it in Little League?
It's a give and take thing. It depends on what position of coach that you take. So we have head coaches, we have assistant coaches. So depending on the position, sometimes I have had that opportunity, sometimes I don't. It just depends on what I'm able to do as a coach for that particular season. But even with those implemented, you're talking between 5 kids. If you're, say you're 3, I understand right now you guys are looking at a 1 year, but if you do a 3-year and, you know, your pricing plan, between 5 kids, you're talking, that's $750 more per season.
Right. And I feel your pain, you're preaching to the choir. I had 5 kids, 5 years apart.
Yeah.
And they all were in college and high school and all that together, so, you
I have
know,
5
we ain't
kids
beanie
this
weenies a
season.
lot, but
Yeah.
one thing I have to tell you, sir, I
Raviolis
appreciate
now.
everything you're doing for your children, and it's such a wonderful job, and God bless you. Mayor, I yield back, but having 5 kids and being participatory, thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you, Timothy.
Thank you,
Appreciate you,
guys.
sir. Brandon Henderson.
Let me keep this open because my memory is terrible. Brendan Henderson, 200 Vermont Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida. So first off, I want to say thank you guys for being so considerate and giving us your time and being here. So we appreciate you guys for that. One thing I know, and I know Deputy Mayor Gilbert, you preached on this a lot, and there's a lot of ramifications when you consider non-residents, is that you also have to consider that these people aren't from here, which means tourism. So it applies. I've had people who have talked to me that I've been on my team because again, I've coached now for the past 2 years. You'll have people who come in and that brings in a layer of tourism because these people have never been to our city. They don't know anything about our city, but they saw people who have recommended the league to them, people who have talked about the league to them. So they sign up, they put their children in the league. Now they're visiting our city. So I just want that to be put into consideration when you're looking into these non-residents and you're applying such a great taxation of a fee onto them, that you consider that the ramifications it has for tourism, that these people are now going out, hey, we love this league, but now it's X amount of money to play for said league. So just getting an understanding that, you know, it does bring in a layer of tourism for our city and can benefit our city by them seeing how great of a league we can have to offer. But thank you for your time. Thank you guys so much. You guys have been awesome.
You got it. Thank you, Brandon. Logan Flowers. Jacob Drescher with Osceola Response Team. All right, Josh Myers. You don't want to say anything?
Don't encourage him.
Hold on, what's on that shirt? Hang on, let me overthink this. Okay. Robert Suffield, has he come back in the room yet? Or Stephanie Suffield? Nobody? All right, then we'll go ahead and act like they left. And anyone else in the audience like to speak on item B? All right, we have one more.
Hello, Adam Richards, 2519 Red-Legged Thrush.
What's up, buddy?
Rice Market. Played when there was no MLB teams. It was who your sponsor was. So me and Chris played together. I was your neighbor at one time. I was on board with your dad before. Okay, so what he brought up, the fees for multiple. I only have one plane now. All mine are old and out of the house. But that brings on a lot of money for people. You know, 25 times 5 kids, and then you add it to 50, then 75, and then who knows from there. If you go year 4, now you're going 100. That's gonna get costly. And so is that per season? So like if you play spring and fall, you're playing in both times? So now you're doubling that on top of that. So how many times you gotta pay the city to play on these fields? Is it not a 1-year thing? Because the league pays you for 1 year, right?
Well, let me ask that
Okay.
of staff. Scott, that's 25 non-resident for both.
Per season.
It-
Per season. The league pays per season.
So it's twice a year, so it's $25 and then $25. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I
Yeah,
just
so that
wanted
was
to understand
just,
as well.
yeah, I mean, so that's gonna be another fee that you're adding on to them more than once, so.
Okay.
All right.
Good to see you, Adam. It's been a while, man. All right, anyone else in the audience like to speak on this item? All right, come on up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jen Harmon. I actually did not intend to speak. That's why I'm dressed like this, so forgive me. But I did want to address Mr. Gilbert. You kept bringing up that you had 5 kids go through U-Trip and all this stuff. Congratulations, because that's awesome, right?
I don't have it here.
But some of you guys might not know that's like thousands of dollars different. So that's like different tax brackets of people that can afford that. So I just want to put that out there. Also putting out there that the reason why I was here, not only because I do have an athlete in the program, but I also run another youth organization in the county, which will be part of your guys' problem soon in October. So we're going to have to go through these same talks. So I wanted to see what the process was, right? But my biggest concern is all of these parks that the county is giving to you guys are now going to be these residents that, for no fault of their own, have to play at St. Cloud. Well, let me backtrack. I'm sorry. My biggest concern is you have people that are by no fault of their own have to play in St. Cloud because there's no other options. For me specifically, I live in the city of Kissimmee, and there was no Little League for years because of whatever. I'm not even going to go there on why there is none, but they've gone through so many programs that there's no option there. So we're forced to come to St. Cloud, and so I feel like that's something that we should probably keep in our minds as well, because it's not something that everybody is able to do. So it's not just as easy as going somewhere else. We're forced to. So that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Well, we do support our Little League. We are the greatest city in the state of Florida and the #1 safest city in the state of Florida, thanks to our police department. So let's give a round for our police department.
I know.
All right, anyone else in the audience like to speak on this item? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Odessa Reed. I live at 4104 Bob White. So from my understanding, it was $5 a person. So if you want to do the math, and there's 12 players on a team, and there's an average of 75 teams in the spring and 50 teams in the fall. So you do the math, then it's 75 times 12 equals 900, and then you multiply that for by 5 for the $5 per player, it would be $4,500 for the spring. For the fall, it'd be 50 times 12 equals 600. You multiply that by 5. For the $5, it'll be $3,000. So the total of Little League, as what has been charged, is $7,500 from my understanding. So I didn't calculate a 1 year, I only calculated for a 3 year. But if you do the new contract and say it's $75 or 75 teams, and you multiply that by $200 per team, you would get $15,000. If you do 50 teams that are in the fall and you multiply that by 200, that's 10,000. So you're looking at 25,000 right there just for the new contract for the 3-year plan, if I'm not mistaken. Then you want to say on the paper that you can read that says 436 players are out of the county, so that's $75. You multiply that, that's $34,000. So that's a total of $59,200. So you're looking at this is why we are like a little worried, because you're looking at, say, $7,500 contract, and then it jumping up to a $60,000 contract or more. So that's what we're, concerned at. And then now, like, my husband just came up here and spoke, but I have 5 kids. We live out of county. $750 on for the 3-year contract on top of what we pay for the $170 per kid. It's expensive. We're concerned about it. We're concerned we won't be able to play. Our kids love it. They have been doing it from season to season to season since they were in T-ball. And I think I just want to bring that concern, because people think, oh, it's a $12 fee, like it's going from $5 to $7, but it's not, because it's going to be as a whole kind of deal is how we're looking at it. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Anyone else in the audience like to speak on this item? And any other council discussion? All right, well, I guess we've already spoken about a lot of what we'd like to do. Anybody want to put that into a motion?
A motion that, Mayor, I think thank you for the citizens, and thank you for the council. At their pleasure, I'd like to do the 1 year and motion that. And I don't know, Dan, where we have to go with that, but I would like to carry this on because it is important. You can see by the participation, so it's how we move on, Mayor.
So you want to make a motion for the 1 year at the $150 per team, $25 non-residential. That is for the 2026
Correct.
season.
If it's motionable.
I mean, year.
In the
Okay?
Challenger.
And
What?
the,
I'm sorry.
and then no increase for the Challenger. Is
Yeah,
that-
all fees waived for any of the Challenger participants for what the city of St. Cloud recovers.
Okay. So all fees waived. So now we need, what are they now getting?
I don't
Well,
know. They'll
okay,
get
so as
$5
Dan,
per
yeah,
participant.
that's where
As
we're-
I understand it, the Challenger program runs through the Little League. They are considered teams like any other teams.
Yes, Danielle, you can come up here too.
So that would mean that if you don't do anything special for the Challenger program, based on your initial discussions, that program would pay $150 per team. Those teams, I think Christie said there were 4 of them, would each pay $150, and then the non-residents in that program would pay the $25, if you follow what we've been talking about. I thought what the council said was we don't want to charge them either of those fees, the team fee or the non-resident fee.
Okay, but they're still paying a rate, there is a fee of some sort.
I don't,
Existing.
they're not,
They're paying $5 per player right now.
Okay.
so they would just pay
That's
the
fair,
$5
right?
per player.
Is that,
Okay. So,
We're gonna
so
keep
with,
that.
with Challenger, if I may, they are paying the $5 per player right now. I know that Christie, who's amazing, did mention the grants. However, this year, there was no money. So we would
what
never.
are we talking about, $200?
Well, we're talking
right.
about, no, I'm not,
We
no,
always
no,
go
no,
to
no,
Ken's
no, I'm
Wallet
not
for-
talking about paying her $5 per player.
Yeah.
I'm talking about us, the Little League, absorbing the cost of their uniforms, their trophies, those things as well. So when she was coming about
Can
the.
we just sidebar on the
Yeah.
uniform stuff?
Okay.
Person to person?
Yes.
I'd like to ask the city to waive the fees that we charge for any of the challengers. And separate motion, if we can meet about
Okay, okay.
uniforms and stuff, can we just?
Okay.
I mean,
I do have one question about the fee, the $150 and per team plus the 25. So with that fee structure, the non-residents are also in that per team price, as well as the $25. So they're kind of double dipping in a sense, correct? I just want clarification.
Well, I think the $150 per team is every team, is it not?
What's every team, right?
Okay.
Which, well, then there's the non-residence fee, so.
It's an additional
the-
fee.
It's additional fee. Okay, I just want clarification.
Okay. All right, so, I mean, so essentially with the Challenger, we'd be waiving $210. I'm in agreement to that. So Challenger's coming out ahead on this one. So, of course, we're still gonna play hard on Saturday.
Is there a game?
We're
gotta
playing
start
the Challenger
exercising.
kids. Take it easy on them, Ken. So, to wrap up that motion that Deputy Mayor was stating, 1 year at the $150 per team, $25 for each non-residential child, and then completely waiving all of the city fees for the Challenger kids.
Right, so the way the proposed agreement is, this is a revised agreement, it does not include, the $5 fee is not in the current agreement. It is being replaced by a flat fee of $150 per team, right, plus the $25. So the provision of the agreement would read that each team would pay $150 per team, and plus a $25 for each non-city registered. And then I added the language that would say the fee shall not apply to the teams and participant in the Challenge League for participants with special needs.
All right.
Okay,
With
thank
Scott-
you.
With your pleasure, Mayor.
Scott's we'll let Scott.
With your pleasure,
Deputy
Mayor,
Mayor.
it's gonna be $600, because it's $150 per team. And the
I
4
see what it is.
challengers team,
Okay.
I would
Then we'll
like to
waive
ask the pleasure of the council to consider waiving that, because that's what the fee is.
We're not losing it, we're just not getting it. Okay.
Correct. Scott Davidoff, Deputy City Manager, the city
You
attorney.
just wanted to talk all night.
No,
Waiting to get up
no,
there.
I think everyone here has done a great job. The city attorney explained it very well. Basically, what will happen is however many teams there are in the Challenger program, because nothing is paid to the city. The Little League, there's no $5, there's nothing of that nature. All it is the total number of teams. So what we would get from the Little League program is the total number of Challenger teams. And so if there were, in the entire Little League program, if there were 75 teams, and if 4 of those teams are Challenger program teams, we would subtract 4 teams from that, and there would be no the non-resident fees would not apply to those participants from there, and we would get a list of
Not
the
only
number
that,
of
but the
them.
150 per team wouldn't apply.
Correct, that's what we were
Okay.
saying, that's the team fee that would no longer apply.
Okay, so we know how to incorporate that into the agreement? Do we vote on that agreement now?
No, I just made those suggestions to you. It would be a one-year agreement, and we could have I think everybody understands it, except, I'm sorry. Go back to Mr. Urban's comment a little while ago, I don't know, 30 minutes ago, about the ad valorem versus resident piece. Do you want that to apply now, or do you want to wait for maybe a subsequent year on that?
Well, at the pleasure of the council, I was going to ask if we could include the definition of a resident to include any property owner in the city.
Okay, so it would be ad valorem taxpayer, is how we've worded in other agreements.
They might have to tell us their names in order to.
Well, they're gonna have to, yeah.
Where they were not wanting to give us names,
are
that one's
they-
gonna apply, need
Yeah.
additional information for us to be able to confirm it with, property records and,
Right.
and Sunbiz.
But that would be up to the particular participant or the league if they wanted to basically avail themselves and not, they'd have to give us the information to prove that.
Oh, it would have to be the parents of the children.
Oh, yeah.
If they own a business and
Well,
they
no,
have.
it's not just owning a business, it's being a taxpayer, a property taxpayer in ad valorem. Remember,
Yeah.
your maintenance funds come out of your general fund, so the theory would be these people are contributing to your general fund because they pay property tax to you, because they own real property in the city.
So it's not businesses, it's
not
only property
businesses,
owners.
It's the real property owner.
So Mayor, this is something that guy can fix.
No, we've done it with other agreements. We have similar language in the marina berth leases for the marina, so we would incorporate that similar language into it.
Okay. I'm good with that. Do we have to vote on this to incorporate all of that?
Yes, please.
All right, can we get them, well, that is the motion. Do you want to go ahead and restate the whole motion?
Sure, may I make a
I'll let
motion
you-
with all the changes, and I'm sure Dan's wrote them down?
I wrote them down.
Restate them.
I-
Restate them.
One calendar year, all fees, sorry, an agreement for 1 calendar year, $150 per team with an additional $25 additional fee for non-residents. The Challenger program will have all fees waived, and property owners within the city of St. Cloud city limits will be charged the resident rate.
May I motion what the city manager said?
All right, we have a motion from Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Fletcher. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Councilmember Paul.
Aye.
Councilmember Urban.
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, thank you all very much for coming out tonight. There are no first readings and introductions at this time. Deputy Mayor, we're almost done. Oh, I'm sorry. I know, man. We're almost done. City Attorney, you have anything for us?
I'll defer my time to Victoria.
I'm gonna be called that for a while now, I have a feeling.
City Manager.
Thank you. I just have a few things. First, I hope all of you come to the ribbon cutting for the new fields on 17th Street this Saturday at 9 o'clock. And then stay after the ribbon cutting to support the city council who is playing the Challenger League. Also, we are accepting applications for all of our citizen advisory committees right now. The applications are available on the city website. And question for the city council, we recently decided to move our workshops to 1:30 because we've had so many topics and so many things to go over. Unfortunately, after we made that decision. We learned that the Tri-County League of Cities regularly is going to cause a conflict for us. If any council members attend, they won't be able to get back in time. So we would like to instead move forward with workshops starting at 2:30 instead. I'm just looking for consensus for that.
Tri-County gets out at 1:30 anywhere in Central Florida, gives an hour to get back. So.
Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you so much. And actually want to congratulate David Bridle for this amazing council chamber renovation project.
Is David in the room anywhere?
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
sitting
know.
right there.
David, when you
Yeah.
raise your hand.
He did a great job being the project manager for this. There's a lot of visible changes, but there's a lot of other.
I think he's matching the chairs. He dressed to his
Yeah.
ties.
The fact that you have comfortable chairs is the city clerk's gift to everyone in the audience this evening. But there was a lot of people involved, and I just want to say thank you to all the staff that were involved with that, and we're going to thank everybody on Saturday for the ball fields. That's all. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Fletcher.
I just want to say, it's nights like tonight that really make serving on the city council amazing. You know, obviously, we had to go walk through this process, but we had, you know, great facilities. We had the community come out. We were able to work together, you know, and spend a couple hours tonight going over how to make our city better, and I really appreciate that, and it warms my heart that we were able to do that in a civil manner. So thank you to the community for that, and the council, of course. Second, I would like to appoint Ed Mateo to the Veterans Council. And with that, thank you and have a good night.
We have to vote to confirm.
You just need a
Ed.
consensus for
Yep.
that, for those, so unless anybody objects.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
I defer to, what was your new name?
Victoria.
Victoria. I already defer to Victoria.
You're all done? Nothing? You have nothing to say. You had a lot to say tonight, and that's it. You're out.
I'm sorry. It's an honor to serve on this council with the pleasure of this council members.
You're not speaking into your microphone. Jay can't hear you up there. Hey, look at him. He's nodding. All right, Councilmember Paul.
I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. Hope everyone had a great Christmas with their family. One thing I wanted to share, I did receive a concern over the Christmas break from a resident in Canopy Walk about their trash not being picked up. And the next day or a week later, he sent me a message saying that they picked it up, so he was very grateful for that. I believe I forwarded that email to our city manager, Veronica. And then also back in December, I did bring up about sponsoring a community day for David Eady Sr. The location would be at David Eady, the field at Hopkins Park, which is named after Mr. Eady in his honor, February 7th, 2026. Scott did get information regarding the fees, so there will be $315 permit application fee, a $45 additional trash receptacles, and then $940 facility fee, which brings it to $1,300 that I asked if I can get waived to sponsor this event. So, and I invite everyone out to come and have a great time at the Hopkins Park field.
Awesome. Thank you, Councilmember.
And it's right before the construction starts out there, so.
All right, Councilmember Urban.
Yeah, that's
Thank
all.
you. I just, first of all, beautiful room. David and the cool UCF tie over there did an amazing job with this. And so thank you. It looks like a brand new room. Secondly, I hate to be a Grinch right after the holidays,
Cut
but
his mic.
I received several complaints and witnessed this myself, but the fireworks on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, like well into early Christmas Eve morning, like 2, 3 a.m., were out of control this year in our city. And, you know, there's you can be a good and respectful neighbor, and I think that's what we should all be in the city of St. Cloud, but there are also laws in the state of Florida. There's only 3 acceptable days that you can set off fireworks, and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are not one of those days.
Dan said my birthday
So-
was allowed, remember?
We're pushing that through the legislature this year.
It takes majority vote.
So, and I love fireworks myself. I think America's 250th birthday, this 4th of July, we should set off a record amount of fireworks in the city of St. Cloud. But just ask everybody to be respectful neighbors, and if it does become an issue, maybe we need to look into tightening up our ordinances. I don't want to put more work on our awesome police chief over there, being the safest city in the state of Florida. But just asking everybody to be good and respectful neighbors moving forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yep, I want to thank the audience, the public for participating tonight. Even after we're kind of figuring out where we wanted to go with it, I did enjoy hearing from each one of you that got up and spoke, so thank you. We always enjoy the public participating in this. I wish we'd get more people coming in here and not for negative reasons, but for positive things. And I think this was a positive thing. I think it allowed us to, obviously, we're not allowed to communicate outside of this, so it allows us to open up discussion about this and better understand Little League, which is, as Danielle said, has been here 50 years. So only 50 years? I'm 45. Jim, she already told me how old you are. Oh, you played in some other league, right? Was it Ross Jeffries? What did you say? Okay. Is that what they call it, the Ross Jeffries League?
Mayor, if he's.
I'm
gonna-
sorry. Yeah, that's all right. I'm just, the Babe Ruth, yeah. No, I do enjoy all of y'all coming out here. I'm glad we did reach an agreement on this and to get through the first year. And hopefully throughout this next year, we can work out other additional issues. So, New Year's was amazing downtown. I think they were 3,500 people. Is that what the count was? I think it was cold. I think it would have been more if it weren't so cold. All the council members were out there. Loved seeing everybody, city managers, all their families. The police department did an amazing job. Everybody was safe. Fire department. The fire chief actually responded to a fire that night and over at the apartment complex there. And he was working all night. So everybody was safe. I can tell you, the chief gave me a tour of the security features that night with the drones, with the surveillance cameras around. I can tell you everybody was safe. And lastly, I received, as y'all know, we got the fair and livestock show coming up in February. Oh, but I do want to thank Scott and Stephanie for working on this agreement, and the rest of staff and city manager. So, and the attorney. I know but we pay you so much that, you don't need to be thanked. That's a joke, Dan.
Thank you, sir.
No, it's a lot of work. It really is. It's a lot of growing pains in the city. But we do have the fair coming up in February and livestock show, and I received a buyer letter from Hannah Wild, actually, Stacy's daughter. And I'm going to read this to you. It says, "Dear potential buyer," and y'all will get many of these in the mail. "I would be honored to see you show up at my market hog auction. I've been blessed to have this opportunity to show a market hog this year at the Osceola County Fair. I hope you take this letter into consideration to possibly have bacon or ham in your stomach at the dinner table." Is that the names of the two pigs? Bacon and ham? No. My God has blessed me with this opportunity, and I would be honored to see you at my market auction. Sincerely, Hannah Wild. So please thank Hannah for sending this letter, and she hand wrote it. So I really love seeing that. With that, we have at the end here, we do have an information section in reports. We have the warrant list number 3, fiscal year 26. Thursday, January 15th, 2026, City Council Workshop, 1:30 p.m., City Hall Council Chambers.
2:30. We just changed it to 2:30.
Oh, yep, you are so right. 2:30. All right, Monday, January 19th, 2026, City offices closed in observance of Martin Luther King Day. Thursday, February 5th, 2026, Community Redevelopment Agency meeting, 3:00 p.m., City Hall Council Chambers. And Thursday, February 12th, 2026, City Council meeting, 6:30 p.m., City Hall Council Chambers, and this meeting is adjourned.